We are back with the final episode of season 5, and before we jump in, I want to highlight that we partnered with our good friends over at Schiller to co-present this season. I've been advising Schiller for the last year as they help consult and market some of the most vibrationally aligned companies in the space. They released their new season of Curated alongside this season of We Do A Little, so be sure to check out and enjoy their new episodes with some of our favorite people, such as Brian Brinkman, Sasha Stiles, Chris F., and more. Links to their podcast are in the description of this episode. Also, I'd like to give a massive shout out to Towns for powering most of season 5. They've been an incredible partner to work with, and they just finished raising for their $10 million Series B, which was led by A16Z Crypto alongside Coinbase Ventures and Benchmark. They're built on Base and running on River. Towns is a decentralized and permissionless group chat app that allows anyone to create and own digital town squares on their own rules. Towns is available on web and iOS with full end-to-end encryption. Users can join or create feature-rich towns with native on-chain gating, paid membership, and more, with tons of exciting features and rewards coming soon. We're also doing a little collabing with our friends over at Schiller in a joint town for our communities, so make sure to tap in to get access to some Towns exclusive giveaways, rewards, and more. We have some funds we're using to tip people who share art, so be sure to check out the art share channel as well. Head on over to towns.com to get started. The link to join our town is in the show notes below. Also, periodic reminder that every episode of this podcast is available to mint on pods.media. Each episode costs about $1, and holders of our pod NFTs get an airdrop at the end of the season with the art I create for each episode. I put a lot of time and care into the art, and it is nice to share it with low expectations. I'll be dropping the art for this season after April 31st, so if you'd like to get any of the art for this season, make sure to mint your dollar NFTs before then. Without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode. In the 14th episode of season 5, we are joined by our wonderful friend Blondie. Blondie is a rockstar collector and the co-founder of White Walls, the best way to display digital art in your home with screens you already own. We dive into Blondie's background, how she fell into the crypto art rabbit hole, all things White Walls, being a true art patron, love of divorce, dad rock, and so much more. As always, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Deez, Redbeard, and guests may be invested in companies or tokens talked about on this podcast.
But we are here with Blondie, who is amazing.
It's a very special conversation.
Yes.
It's nice that you're in New York. Most of the time we're here, you're in somewhere else. And you're always somewhere else. But it's nice to finally get to sit down and talk to you. Sorry for the traffic. Sorry for people dying in the middle of the street.
Wait, so it died?
They were moving.
They almost died.
Was it a motorcycle?
I didn't see what. I think they were crossing the street, but where they were crossing doesn't make sense. Unless they were hit far enough. I don't know.
That's
but again,
welcome to
I
New
felt
York.
bad because I was like complaining about the traffic and I was texting you. And then I got up there. I was like,
That's the beauty of New York, though. Like, a lot of people crossing streets they shouldn't cross and places they shouldn't cross, and they take the risk. Like,
maybe they jumped in front of the car. Maybe they're disappointed.
People here want to get hit by cars. I'm convinced.
I just feel like if you're going to kill yourself, there's like way more easier ways to do it.
For sure ways to do it. Like,
jumping
in front of a car, you could just
just jump off the Brooklyn Bridge.
You might survive.
I would just jump off like the Empire State Building.
I think they have things in place
You
for
got to
that.
get up there.
What do you mean? You go.
Which is funny because I'm scared of heights. So like, I don't think I could climb up there to kill myself.
Have you ever thought that you had to go to the top of the Empire State Building and view it? Is that a thing that you're interested in?
Step in front of a train. That's probably
No, but see, again,
Just
you're
ride the
ruining
subway.
the person who's driving the train's life.
Oh, I see what you're saying. How do you kill yourself? Don't they have these pods now in Europe you just go into and you die?
I think they have those in Canada.
I think
right?
they do, but I think you have to have in Canada. I think you have to have a reason.
Terminal.
You can have mental illness, but it has to be like proven.
I have a doctor who can help you out. All right, so we're starting the pod off on a high note, talking about assisted suicide, killing ourselves. It's not even that bad of a bear market. Trump's only been in office for...
No. It's just be very clear. I joking around about it, but it just because it did just happen on the timeline, I have to say that like while we're talking about it, it's like in all seriousness, like if people are feeling pretty down right now.
Oh yeah, I mean
you need to find people that love you to either vent to or talk to, because like it's like that shook me. I'm not gonna lie. This is the second time I've gotten shook. Like one time was in 2015. Some guy also killed himself like because of the crash in Mount Gox, and it hit me pretty hard. this also hit me. I didn't see it and watch it. I didn't want to, but just hearing about it and then hearing he had a kid, I'm like, oh.
Are you talking about the
didn't know he had
Russian
a kid.
roulette guy?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's just.
I didn't even watch the video. That's how I know I'm getting more mature. Like
Yeah.
5 years ago, I would watch the video 5 times.
It's just like messed up. It's like our community has to take stock and be like, okay, we need to like maybe readjust here and think about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because like that's just totally fucked.
I mean,
you know?
it was very upsetting. I didn't even believe it at first. I was like, "Are we sure?" Like,
Yeah, it was real.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's
it was
really
definitely
freaking terrible.
And he had a kid.
Yeah, he was young too.
But
He was
see,
a young
that,
guy.
again, mental illness.
Well, he was
has
like
no,
following.
That doesn't matter if you have a kid when you're in that place.
No,
People
People don't realize how hard it is when you get depressed, and it's like you think you have a family, it's gonna save you.
they think they're doing
It's
the you know, they often feel like they're doing their family a
Yeah.
favor.
not. Yeah.
And like the money part, when you don't have it, you just feel so desperate to get it. It's like you feel like you're drowning, and money can.
Well, the pressure comes mounts. It's like, okay,
Make you not drown.
Also, like once I understand that feeling.
I've been there. I was there in 2018.
Yeah.
I was like lost all the money I put into crypto.
Yeah.
In debt, 1-bedroom apartment, job
And you
I hated.
start off up, like you're up money. So like you're like living. You're like, man, I'm crushing it. I'm up, 6 figures, 7 figures. Everything's going amazing. I can never get back to where I was. And then slowly it just goes down, down, down.
Well, then you
When
learn
you're
about
craving that,
leverage.
it's also the feeling of being, you crave that rush of being super high.
Yeah.
So even when you're up, you just want to keep getting.
You
more
want to get
up.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still get it, and I still get very down about it. And like, I'm better at it, 100%. Yeah, here we go.
Benny?
Benny? What?
Burnt out and down
Burnt
about it?
out, down, leaving
No,
the
no,
space?
How many times does
What?
Benny tell you a week that he's leaving the space?
Once every other day.
I
Yeah.
literally just told Batsoup that I was quitting.
Really?
Yeah, that was my text message to him.
Oh, you're right before the pod.
Literally right before the pod.
I'm
thinking about
Then
this-
I will separately text
Have you ever?
Zanzibar and say, "Are you taking this one or am I?"
Do you ever
Who's
tell?
on duty?
Do you ever tell Benny that you're quitting?
No.
No.
Lindsay's,
that would
Lindsay's
be
never,
impossible.
Lindsay's never going to quit, so.
How did you meet Benny?
Consensus last
No.
year during my birthday in Austin.
No.
Is that when we met?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I met you because you outbid me on
Oh, okay, that's fair. I meant in person.
in person.
But
the first time we
met
met
online.
is
She outbid you.
Yes,
On
I
the
went with
DK piece.
Sam to the DK thing at Christie's. Sam bid, I bid, and then somebody else was bidding. We had no clue. I thought it was somebody else who I thought it was PTM at the time because I think he was interested, and then I found out it was you, and then I hit you up. I was like, I looked at your collection. I was like, hey, you have a pretty good collection, right? That's literally that was my DM to you.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then we
Fair.
started talking.
I was
Then
like,
we,
who's
then
this
we met
guy?
in person at your birthday. Yes.
Yeah.
So how did you stumble into this crypto art rabbit hole?
So always was a collector of things, loved sneakers, loved art. But I have a home that doesn't have a lot of wall space. I have a lot of windows.
Yeah.
And I had married my husband in 2006. And we built this house, but he was very much into crypto. I didn't give two shits about crypto. Seemed like funny money, whatever.
Did you know the depth that he was in crypto, or like not really? Like you just,
I mean, it was a really pretty number that went up really quickly, and so that was fascinating.
but
to
you
me.
didn't realize like the value if you had. Or anything
No,
like that.
not
You
really.
weren't in. Yeah, okay.
So I mean, I kind of did over time, but again, it was like
Right.
he never intended to do anything with it. It was more like he had taken out his initial investment, which wasn't very much.
Storing value. And
Yeah, and so again, never intended to do anything with it. He passed away like 16, 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of able to, blessing in disguise, that I didn't, he hadn't done anything with it, and I was able to take something and kind of do something I'd always wanted to do and build a digital art collection, which he would have absolutely not supported.
But he did support you when you were collecting at the time, like NFTs and
Physical art?
Some
PFPs.
PFPs, but not as heavily as I was.
Was he like a Bitcoin maxi, or just didn't really believe in like collecting?
He did not, just as much as I would say initially I didn't believe in crypto.
Right.
He was like, you're literally wasting money on
Right.
digital baseball cards, which is just
Which
stupid.
he was kind of right about.
Some of it.
For sure. It's based on the fact that I have a very beautiful burn wallet for my protest wallet of things. Yeah, I mean, he was probably right, but
Have
he would
people
do.
found that wallet yet?
Some people have because they've tried to revive some collections, and there's some very rare pieces. So when they go to see who buys or who owns the token to buy it, they're like, who's that wallet?
Who the fuck's this?
Yeah.
And then they look at the chain and they're like, oh, these are all coming from this person.
Uh-huh.
Before any of the crypto art stuff, what like got you into collecting traditional art? Did you grow up around it, or
No,
was it more of like something you learned?
I always loved art, and I loved. Again, we laugh because it's like rainbows and sunshine, and literally everything is colorful. So
Yes.
that was I just loved pretty things. I mean, down
That's
to
how you got into doodles, right?
to doodles,
Yeah.
and
Rainbow
even like
throw up.
the rainbow puke, all of that.
You're the third largest doodles collector,
I don't really know.
but this is like
As far as the rares are concerned, absolutely.
Did you know the Doodles team before they came out, or did you just see it and be like, oh, this is like what
So-
resonates the most with me?
I was part of a different group
Okay.
that actually is how I got in. So I was a sneaker collector, Kith,
Yeah.
huge fan of Kith,
Got
which
the
obviously
the Sesame,
we're both repping
the
today.
Sesame Street.
I don't.
Benny,
Not you, no, not so much.
We'll have to buy Benny a Kith shirt.
One day I need to get
Actually, I
killed.
tried
I would
to
buy
get-
that sweatshirt. That's a cool.
I
Kith
tried to
sweatshirt.
get him when they did what was the drop, the candy drop of
Oh, candy. Yeah.
it was the sugar bait. What were they?
I think I just didn't do it. I'm not against Kith or fancy clothing. I just don't buy it.
You have your own style.
Yeah.
It's not a robe.
I like
If Kith had a robe,
cardigans. Yes. If
would-
they had a robe or a cardigan,
They do.
they have
those.
cardigans.
And they have
I would buy a
robes.
cardigan from them.
They have
But
robes.
does it say Kith on it? I don't like to buy clothing that has a name on it. Usually.
What,
Can
I'm
you tell
sorry.
that-
What is on your arm?
What does it say?
Deviant
Oh,
art.
dude, this is deviant art though. Like,
Right, but I'm saying
that's like old
it
school.
has a
It's like,
name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like so many artists in our space were like deviant art people. Like,
Yes,
you know, that's
yeah.
like so to me, it's
That's
more
different.
nostalgia.
I was
Okay.
copy
Okay.
pasting stuff I found off DeviantArt for like my wallpapers before I even knew what art was.
Dude, all these bigger artists like were there, like Justin Maller, who else? Like I keep saying G Money,
G-Monk.
yeah, G Monk. Like I think Beeple was like there a lot. Like,
Anybody who's probably over the age of like 32 to 35 who's been creating art for most of their life was on DeviantArt
was on
at some
Deviant,
point.
yeah.
But
Anyways,
going back
sorry,
to you,
going back to you.
you were always collecting. I mean, people who don't know you, every time I see you, you have a new pair of shoes that are catching in the eye, bags. Like,
Do you collect glasses?
Oh, I mean, sort of. Yeah, I guess that's fair. I do. Yeah.
What?
I wouldn't claim that I do, but I do.
When you go to the Olive Garden, do you collect something new every time you go?
I take
a
pictures to send
napkin?
to you. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
remember when I text you, I'm like, I found this new artist. And so I take pictures of the art
At the Olive
At
Garden?
the Olive Garden because it's always.
we
and
should-
by the way, there's usually like a marinara smear on it too.
Yeah.
Did you have a special affinity for Olive Garden, or was that just Benny pulling
No.
around?
No, my daughter
Okay.
freaking loves the Olive Garden.
Nice.
And now she doesn't. I think so. We go. She still wants to go all the time, and every time the food's like the last few times has not been good, but she just likes to go because it's just like our place.
It's Olive Garden.
So
It's special. It's home.
It's like home.
I was like that
I
with
think that's
Denny's
the new
growing
slogan.
up. We would go to Denny's after church, and like I haven't eaten at Denny's in 10 years. But growing up, it was like every Sunday I knew.
Wait, we just went to a Denny's.
Really?
Where did we go to Denny's? We literally just went to Denny's with
That sucked?
Toys. Wasn't Toys with us?
Denny's, IHOP,
Oh,
and
in Marfa.
Perkins have all went downhill.
Didn't we just go to? Doesn't Marfa have a Denny's?
I don't
It
think
wasn't in Marfa because Toys wasn't in Marfa.
No, not Toys. It was with
Jordan?
Jordan. We just
No, that
That's
was Dairy Queen.
no. Oh, that's a Dairy Queen. Okay.
So Marfa,
So,
we talked about
whatever,
this last night. Marfa has the best Dairy Queen I've ever eaten at.
It's so good.
I don't go to a bunch.
You're right. It was a Dairy Queen. It wasn't Denny's.
I don't go to a bunch of Dairy
Okay.
Queens, but that's the best.
It was.
I
really
do. I
good.
like Dairy Queen. I like Sonic.
My daughter
Sonic's
also
hit and
likes
miss.
Sonic.
Food kind of sucks.
But
The
I-
drinks
But the
are-
drinks.
The
enough.
drinks are
Phenomenal.
great. Like I love going with my kids, going
Diet
to the
cherry
drive-thru.
limeade.
Yeah,
And I have
yeah.
Sonic. I literally have the same ice machine brand that they have
Oh,
at
really?
my house.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
That
Because that was
small little
cube.
cube.
Do you want to hear the craziest story ever? I went to this. My friend got engaged in California, and he got engaged at this friend of his parents, their house. It looked like a Spanish house, like they flew it from Spain. And he was like, "Hey, can you help me get something from the freezer?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I opened the freezer. The freezer is the size, literally, of this room, and all there is cake from
Frozen cake
from Cheesecake Factory, frozen cheesecake. It wall to
like
wall.
$25,000 worth.
I
Of
started saying because they're expensive.
Dude, I've never seen so much
It's a
frozen
wine cellar for Cheesecake Factory.
It was the
cake.
crazy thing. I'm like, what is going on?
Were
He's
they,
like,
like,
oh yeah,
pre-sliced?
He's like, well, my parents' friend owns the Cheesecake Factory. I was
Oh.
like, well, that makes more sense now. Like, it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Why do you still need so many cheesecakes?
You know, if I own the Cheesecake Factory, I'm gonna have a giant freezer
I think
with
it would be the opposite.
cheesecake.
If I owned the Cheesecake Factory, I probably wouldn't.
I would be cheesecaked out.
No,
I think I would
not
be cheesecaked out.
I would just eat it all the time.
Then he would have a
They
house.
had-
Okay, but
they used to have a
you're a
great-
different animal when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I like to eat the same things. Also, they used to have this great burger there that they got rid of. This mushroom burger. I'm very
they
upset
have their
about it.
menu is like 64 pages. How did they get rid of anything?
I don't know, the one burger I like.
Well, because they
got rid of.
added something and take
Yeah,
something out.
they
It's
took
like you're not
something
going
out.
to know because
They
it's
have a
64
chef.
pages.
I mean, anyways, back to Olive Garden though. The Olive Garden is a great place. I find
mean-
it to be wholesome. I think the breadsticks are amazing. I think it's very underrated. I have this is what I think.
Benny, when's the last time you ate at Olive Garden?
like a couple months ago.
Wow. I'm
If
shocked.
if Lindsay lived in New York, I would definitely be going a lot more. For sure. So it's good that she doesn't. But
if she lived here with her daughter,
oh, forget it. I would take my kids with them.
because I'm assuming, how many times have you been to Olive Garden without your daughter?
0.
So, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. What happens? Here's my thought.
Oh,
Okay.
actually, that's unfair. That's not true. So at my office, sometimes the staff will get takeout.
Okay. That's
What happens if we do a drop with artists in the Olive Garden, and their art gets shown in the Olive Garden? So it's like all of a sudden the Olive Garden has really good art.
And hopefully Korn is playing there.
Yeah,
Or Creed.
Creed.
Alien Ant Farm.
I will get to
displays-
that
Oh,
also.
that's a
Hold
good
on.
one.
Alien Ant Farm displays Smooth Criminal for an hour straight on
And we
repeat.
get Die with the Most Legs to do karaoke.
Yes. He could
All
be
right.
the front man.
We have a lot to get to, especially Die in that. But let's go back to your journey. So you start collecting PFPs. You have this unfortunate situation.
Well, so I got.
So we were
it
talking
was-
about this group. What?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so
were in a group.
I was in a sneaker group. I was a huge collector of kits, still am. And they had partnered with an NFT collection, so I kind of had gotten in.
Invisible Friends.
I wasn't going to say it because
Well, I'll say it. 'Cause
Okay.
I have in the basement 3 cardboard boxes full of the Letterman jackets. I have all of it.
I have. Oh, I remember that because you had moved, and that was like a whole thing. Because I was working for
Yeah.
Marcus at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I moved, and since the shipment was so delayed, they were sending it to my old house.
Yes.
And
Just
Jess was stocking out our old house.
waiting for the.
Yeah, and it was just.
And
the
then it
whole
didn't
thing.
even ship all at once. It was like this
No,
weird.
but the shoes, the Korean colorway shoes, were worth the wait. Those are the ones I probably ended up wearing the most. But I don't wear any of the long sleeves or the jackets, and I just have dozens of
right.
them.
I think I'm gonna donate them
Yeah, you should donate them
because
to
they're
the
really
poor.
nice quality.
Yes,
But
like the same quality as like the other long sleeves. And
I would
jackets
say
do.
that I believe really strongly. I'm saying this serious.
I'll give it to Benny. That'll be his kiss shirt.
That the Invisible Friends clothing would be a perfect fit for homeless people.
I
think they fit very well. I think
I'm gonna
everything
ship-
the project represents,
I'm shipping
everything
Benny.
the artist has given to the community. I believe that the homeless should be wearing that clothing in a very nice way. No?
Did you remember when they dropped the 101s? Did you?
So should you check out that wallet we were talking about?
Yeah,
earlier?
there's some. Because our friend bought one of them.
I have the Miami one.
Okay, but Andy bought the New York one. Yeah, but
Well, if you go back and find the Miami one,
yeah,
you might find that other thing that we were talking about earlier.
okay,
Yeah.
the graveyard.
So,
But so you were
Invisible Friends.
big
They go
Kith
invisible.
fan.
Okay, so
Right.
I had kind of gotten into, but then I was in this group, and all these raffles you're constantly entering to, the opportunity to whatever, and it was the opportunity to mint a Moonbird. And I was
Yeah.
like, so I won,
it.
and everybody was like, wow, this is so great. I would quit my job if I had won this raffle. And I was like, what? What? This is so weird. And so
At the time, were you working for your husband in the office?
yes.
Okay.
And so I just remember I was like, people are making a big
Did
deal.
you go
out of
home to
this.
your husband and go like, yo, I got a Moonbird. Go fuck you. I'm out.
Well, no, because I was like, I had no idea at the time really how to move crypto
it
around.
was.
Right.
Or right. And he was like, oh, and he, like, fortunately, gambler. So he was like, oh, whatever.
Go ahead.
So then, of course, just like everything else,
Yeah.
we minted it, watched it. He's like, wow, this is amazing. This is so great.
This is the best tech
And then
I've ever
watched it
Thir-
right
30
all the way back
It went to
down.
35, right?
No, they went. I think they might have went over 40.
Yeah.
Did you remember at that time any of Ryan Carson's shenanigans? Were you like clued into this stuff?
He's, again, back around again.
Well, I mean, you got it. It's just like the
now,
sun.
I think the last PFP I saw, it looks like he works for Target.
the Moonbirds were one of the like most profitable things I traded over a short amount of time because I didn't get the mint, but I was buying them
I think for me,
between like 9 and 15. And
Like,
then Ryan
yeah.
Carson, I tweeted, every time Ryan Carson says something stupid, I'm going to sell a Moonbird. And then like
Yeah.
I sold all of them in like a week.
I think that the best thing about Moonbirds was I did pretty well there also. So I don't have too much. I just think
Everybody ate.
Ryan and Kevin are just
Kevin.
clowns. But like the truth is, a lot of people ate, but a lot of people lost money. To be fair,
Yeah, a lot of
also.
people ate shit.
I think my
Everyone
favorite
ate.
part about Moonbirds was when Ben Scar
Oh yeah, I mean he paid for his
minted.
college tuition.
and this incredible Moonbird, and I got on and he's like, well, I'm thinking about holding it. And I got on the phone with him like, if you don't sell this Moonbird, it was like 100 ether, I think.
No, we talked him out of selling it when it was 50 to 100, and then he ended up selling it for over 200 ETH.
He's just holding it for 200. Yeah, but he's like, I'm like, dude, you're getting whatever that offer was.
Once
I'm
the floor went over like 30 or 40, and the like 101 rare ones were like over 200, it was like
and then he sold it and he paid for his college. And I was I remember as clearly. I remember where I was. I was traveling with my family in a fast food restaurant. What's it called? Like in my car.
Olive Garden.
And my wife's like, where are you going? I was like, I need to speak to this kid to make sure he sells this. And he did. And he made a boatload of money. And I was like, that was my happiest memory of Moonbirds.
Do you remember the stories that we were telling ourselves around the traits? We were like, oh, this one has a squiggle hat. Like maybe Snowfro reserved mints for every squiggle Moonbird owner.
We made
Or,
up
like,
these things. What was so ridiculous is we made them up in our heads. And it's not like I wasn't friends with Eric. Be like, hey, what's going on? Like I just didn't ask him.
No, I
just believed it. I was like, okay, like,
Respected him enough to be like, yeah. it probably
Also, I
could've
was
been.
like, okay, it was cool and whatnot. Look, I think like I don't want to listen. I don't think my issue with Moonbirds in the end was not what they did. It's just that I don't think there was really a plan that they ever had.
No, they were just on the fly.
And they were just on the fly. And I think they made it seem like they had a plan. They didn't. And then as time went on, it's just like, just to go like, okay, we're done. See you guys later. We cut loose. It's like, okay, you cut loose. You ain't coming back.
Well, they
in
know
my
it-
opinion.
they had like 3 years of doing the proof stuff, and then that was going so well. It was like, why don't we drop something else?
Right.
And then they made it CCO,
The
and
proof
like
test went to 140 ether.
people didn't want it to be CCO, but like they made it CCO because
That was even stranger.
That was a mess. Well, and to be fair, I had no idea what a squiggle was.
Yeah.
So I saw these things. I was like, what's that?
it's a rainbow
Colorful.
though. I'm so shocked.
Right.
I'm
Well,
shocked you weren't like, what
I
the
did
fuck
like
is this
that.
rainbow?
I mean, I had the one I minted had a wizard hat. Thought that was really
That was-
great.
those were
Those
good.
are good. The
Did
Zelda
you end
ones are
up
good.
selling it like shortly after it went down, or do you still hold
no,
it? Is that in the graveyard?
I did finally sell it, but no, not shortly after. Now I still have one that has rainbow eyes, though.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're,
but that's like you're not. That's like you
Yeah,
can't
and
sell
it's
that.
not in my protest wallet or anything. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
I think there's a chance. I'm gonna make a prediction here. I actually think Moonbirds may eventually come back because I actually don't think they were. I thought the art was pretty good. Like I thought the traits were good. I thought they were fun. I think if they get the right home, there's a chance that they could do something with it. I mean, Yuga right now is just holding them basically. I don't know what they're doing with them, but I don't know. I didn't think it was a bad project. I just out of all the ones that were around, but like. There's a lot of good projects. Like, I
It's
still
just-
think Toads is great. Like,
when you hype something up
Yeah.
off the back of one
Yeah.
person's
Yeah.
prior success,
Yeah.
and then you assume that since they've caught lightning in a bottle once before, they can do it again, your expectations are just always almost always going to exceed what is actually possible.
And it was just weird that they brought in like what's his name, Tim Ferriss, and then they did this chicken thing.
Cock punch.
Yeah, and then it kind of then you start looking like, wait a minute,
but
what's
they were
going on
like
here?
so they were honest about cock punch. They said, I'm gonna do this till I'm bored. It's gonna go to 0. Like there was very clearly no promises, and they were like,
yeah, that's true.
we're fucking around and finding out. Like I don't get mad at that at all. I didn't even.
I don't get mad at, and this is the same thing with meme coins. We invested. I invested. It's my money. I made the mistake. It's not the creator's mistake. They made it. If they don't like it, it's like people get mad at Doodles. Like, you're not doing enough. I'm like, okay,
Well,
guess what? Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Stop bitching.
Stop
sell
bitching.
it.
Wait
sell
for
it.
them to announce the token, sell the pre-token
Yeah.
hype pump, and be happy.
Well, they announced token like 4 times now. So
We are not talking doodles right now.
Yeah. As the third largest rare holder, you're just like,
I will say this.
the McDonald's thing was cool.
The McDonald's thing was cool.
Did you get any of the clothes?
She came to New York and got to hang out with Grimace.
Really?
I showed my pictures to my kids because we love Grimace in our house because he's like the Mets thing, and my kids were like, "Your friend knows Grimace." I'm like, "Yeah,
They're close.
they're close. They're buddies."
Uncle O
Grimace
Grimace.
has security like he's Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's Grimace.
Is there a specific person who is under the Grimace, or
no,
is it like a
Grimace is just a Grimace.
It's Grimace. What do you
Yeah.
mean, person? What
Person?
the fuck are you
talking about?
insinuating?
What's wrong with you?
Dude, you know that who's that rapper Dave Blunts? He looks like a real version of Grimace. You know what I'm talking
No,
about?
that's crazy. Really?
What? No.
And do you know what I'm talking about? Type in.
Put it up right here
Dave
Yeah.
Blunts.
for us.
But tell
when we
me
have
that's
it.
not
Let me
Grimace.
see. Yeah, that is Grimace.
Oh no.
That's insane.
He's like on stage rapping with an oxygen mask because he's so big. Like, but that's Grimace.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, I love this guy. What's his name?
Dave Blunts.
I gotta listen to some of his music. Dave Blunt.
So wait,
his
I
last
think
name
that's who's under the Grimace.
No, Grimace isn't that big.
No, I don't think Grimace is that big.
Yeah, is that him on stage?
That is bigger than Grimace.
is he
Grimace is
dressed
more
up as
trim
Grimace?
now.
This is incredible.
Does he have to like go back and does he rap from within the oxygen mask? Or
No,
does he?
he'll like put it on like after a verse. Like it's
Oh,
a very
to catch his
It's like a
breath.
very morbid thing. It's like, how did we let this guy get to be like 650 pounds and then we're like putting him out on stage like a circus act?
No,
I
he's
mean, to
talented. What are you
maintain
talking
that
about?
size,
Sounds
he
like a
must
talent to
eat
me.
during his shows.
I mean, he's-
it's so hard to maintain that weight.
There's a Grimace shake lineup for sure.
Yeah.
Grimace lean cups, just like Grimace out.
Grimace shakes, man. That's it. Like that's why he's famous. Anyways, Doodles. So you get into Doodles. You get into
well, so
Invisible
when I
Friends.
left.
Sorry, we go off topic.
No, yeah, it's like
I-
Benny's brain.
Some close friends of mine, and we, the artist went and branched off of Invisible Friends.
Yeah.
And there was some mixture of emotions about RCC and Invisible. And so the artist went, and he was like, wanted to hire from within the community and have, and so of course we were all like, this is so great. It was probably like my first feeling like diehard artist supporter, basically. So like, oh yeah, this is great. I didn't need it was just about being a part of this community and
Yes.
supporting this artist. And then that went, there's a post about it badly. So my husband would pass away. We would have a fallout with this artist who did some really awful things to some of us, like said just really ridiculous things. And so then there was me publicly leaving that all in the short term. So I was like, you know what? I have this crypto that I want to do something with. I wanted to make something of it and do something completely different with my life. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to be positive and not throwing this, which I guess it kind of just did, this person and this project under the bus. I'm going to do the opposite of basically a fuck you, but in a positive way. So I went hard into Doodles.
Gotcha.
So I moved all of that to my protest burn wallet. And because that was the other thing. I knew it was coming before I made they were like, why didn't you sell? I was like, well, because then I would have sold all of this and then I was going to announce. So when myself and the people that were working for him at the time, when we announced that we were leaving and why, the project tanked. So I knew that was going to happen. So I didn't want to sell.
You don't want to be the person like inside selling and
Well, right. I
getting
was literally going
shit.
to be rugging everybody. So it's
Wow.
like,
Private.
so
You're like the only person who's never rugged.
so
I mean, that does take a classy
Yeah.
individual.
I was
Most
like,
people
there-
would have
Most
sold.
people would have sold from different wallets and just been like, oh yeah, now I'm leaving. And yeah, they would have done it totally differently.
it wasn't, that's not how I wanted to do it. It was, I wanted to be the biggest backhanded fuck you, but in a positive way. So I made my public stance about why I was leaving this particular project. He would say that we were fired. Technically, I guess we were technically fired. I had offered to use that money to help build this brand out with him.
Yeah.
And he fired us the next day because he was just so full of himself.
Classic.
Yeah.
Little ego trip.
Like, yeah, here's a whole lot of money. Let's build something with it. And he's like, yeah, you're fired. And the rest of the team as well all got.
And the price shows what happens when that happens.
Yeah. So I left, moved all that stuff to the burn wallet, and then
They became invisible.
yeah. Well,
Literally.
and garbage.
Yeah.
Skyrim.
When somebody tells you, like, yeah, we're garbage.
I know. He's like, please stop telling. He's like, what were some of the, he was like, where were you a year ago? I was like, remember Invisible Friends, Garbage Friends? He's like, yeah, don't tell people that. He's like, stop saying Garbage Friends.
I had a few. I think I kept one invisible friend because like my daughter liked it, but the rest I just sold. I didn't even know you then. That's the truth.
That was a weird period of time too in the NFT space where there was a lot of very overpriced like pre-reveal projects coming out. There was
Like they were selling those hoodies that are like the famous Invisible Friend hoodies that you would have a chance to, if you bought a hoodie, you might win the opportunity to mint. I would luckily wasn't around for that because I probably.
what I had.
I think I
55
got a hoodie.
hoodies.
I have
The-
hoodies.
Those are actually really good hoodies. The
There
black
was,
They're
like-
a little. They're nice. They're heavy. And
they're heavy.
Like,
That
yeah.
was good.
There's Hape. Remember Hape?
Yep. Hape.
Mechaverse.
Mechaverse.
Those
They're-
are all premium.
These things were trading for like 5 to 10 ETH before they
Before
ever
they were-
revealed because people were like, this is like the next punks. This is the
And
next
it's funny
40s.
because like what really happened back then, it's like so funny. Again, this will go back to what we were talking about last time. People now are just like, oh, there's insider, meme coins and insider trading and blah blah blah. They get the CA before. In NFTs, the way it worked is that you would have the pre-reveal, and certain people had
The
and knew
metadata.
which ones were the special ones.
like
And you could and then you could scrape it. Like I did it for at one point I
there are
could,
ways to game it.
yeah, you were against the game it and see like on it which one was which. And it was the same game because they gave it to Coles. I didn't call them Coles then. I keep forgetting what they called them. Just whatever. And they would give them these alpha groups like, hey, you should buy these 5. And then all of a sudden
Well, they
like,
would
oh.
know. Like there was a way. A lot of people weren't doing a truly random reveal. It was like they knew that, say, there's gonna be 10 rainbow ones. They knew which numbers the rainbow ones were gonna be, and then they would. It was very clearly leaked. Like people were buying pre-revealed things for like 3x the floor randomly.
Right.
But there were people who did it right. Like I thought, like when Azuki's did the beans and stuff, like that was
Yeah,
like
that was pretty
completely
good.
random. And you always.
I always liked the Azuki team when I met people from Azuki team. I never had an issue
They
with them.
just get a lot of
Those are
shit
nice.
because of Zagabond's like prior stuff, which
Yeah,
I understand,
get
but
that.
they've been around long enough and have delivered on what they said they were going to do that you can kind of
I mean, they're still around.
give them slack. Like a
They are
lot
still
of the
around.
big influencers or people in the space, they have like shadier past too. It's not like everybody is the most clean,
Look,
transparent.
everybody has something in
Why
their
the
past.
space in a lot of ways
Exists.
It gave
Yes.
people a place to go.
Yeah, I mean, look, even like, people. I remember one point, I looked at like Luca's past, right, and they're like, oh, he had all these issues.
Oh yeah, the drop shipping
and,
stuff.
and by the way, like, you know,
faking metrics
yeah,
on platforms.
And I remember Luca was kind of like, yeah, I mean, listen, I've had things that didn't go well. I mean, meanwhile, Luca's probably the best, in my opinion.
Like top 3, top 5.
Top 3, top 5 in the space when it comes to that type of like creator, project sort of like, owner or whatever you want to call it. Like he like literally puts everything into it and tries everything he can to make sure that if you own a Pudgy, it's
What's like a
value.
bold move to buy a NFT IP that's like a year old or 2 years old that has
That was
a
a big
history of
move.
scammers? Like,
Yeah.
like
And you're just subjecting yourself to like the chance that it goes well is very
it's so
slim.
it's so slim.
so
It's like
It's tiny and it's and the pressure that you have to feel of people just hating on you. I mean, like look now, like Luca literally dropped the Pudgy coin and all he gets is hate. Like, oh, why isn't my stuff have more value?
Did you know what happened to Benny, the Pudgy coin? Did you hear about this?
I didn't tell you.
Oh, we should tell her.
No, basically, I'm an idiot. Like, I had a ton of little pudgies, so I figured like
I knew this because we had this discussion because I have a pudgy penguin and I have quite a few little. So I knew that.
So I was gonna sell like half of them, which is a decent amount. After I did it, because I wanted to recoup some of my money. I bought some cheaper, I bought some higher. So I did it, got the drop, sold them. Like, not in that much. Some of them I sold actually a little less, and I recouped what I wanted to. And I go back and I'm like, yo, where's all my pengu?
And he never claimed the pengu.
I claimed it. It just was, the thing was broken.
You know how the launch would show on the front end, you claimed?
It said claimed, but whatever, millions of coins.
But
and I look at my wallet and there's nothing.
He never checked his Phantom wallet. So he just thought since the front
you
end.
never got your...
No, he basically sold all of those penguins with their pengus still available.
So he bought those penguins and got the pengu. Now, to be fair, look, I didn't lose money, so I'm not upset. I pretty much broke even on most things, and I'm up because I still haven't.
But it should have been a nice win. Yeah. And Benny messages me later in the day.
My pengu was a good win.
Benny messaged me like, "Where's my pengu?" I'm like, well, "Did you not check the chain after you did it?" And you're like, "No, I was rushing. I just like it said I claimed
was busy.
It said I claimed. I'm like, Benny, I can manage this stuff for you. Like, if you just tell me your wallet address, I can tell you."
It was stupid. What was it? I just didn't. I just saw it on the screen. It said, "Here's your pengu."
How did I not hear about this?
I was upset for a little bit. I just didn't tell you.
He told me because I was claiming mine.
He was claiming.
It took me 3 hours to successfully claim it. So when he told me that he was able to claim it immediately and it worked, I'm like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, no, that should have been the red. Right. That should have been the red
I
flag.
woke up
1,000%.
4 hours earlier than I normally wake up and have been sitting at my desk.
I was all excited. I was like, "Oh, I'm done. All right, go back to work." I look back going, "Well," I was like, "Where's my pengu?" I mean, it's not, their fault. It's my fault. Obviously, they had some issues, but like, what am I going to do? Like, they can't just give me free pengu. Like, I messed up. That's the way it works on chain. But yeah, I lost a lot of money on that. And I waited for a while because I was collecting little penguins for
right.
months.
We had a
maybe more than that.
That's probably why you didn't tell me because we did. We had a very elaborate conversation about penguins.
And I really like Luca. I'm a huge fan of Luca.
Anytime I ever consider selling I think I've even told you this, my pudgy penguin, Luca will do, like, I'll have a personal interaction with Luca and I'm like, "Oh God, I can't fucking sell this."
You just get
it's hard.
Like an out of the blue. Yeah, he'll send me, he's like, "Hey Blondie, it's your birthday. I sent you something." Like, what?
Yeah, there's very few, if any, founders outside of like maybe the Goons, because I've worked with them personally, do drops, who've like sent me things out of the blue. Yeah. Like Luca's like, "Oh yeah, we got like my fucking phone."
Oh, that's cute.
Like they did this whole drop with velvet caviar or something.
He sends me like stuff for my kids all the time, and I'm just like, ugh. And my kids love it. My kids love pudgy penguins.
Fucking dozen plushies, a statue.
I have a bunch of stuff too.
And it's like, not that many people.
No, he's good.
Do that, and I only own one penguin, so it's like I can't sell the one penguin.
Well, I have a bunch of littles, and I have a really great pudgy penguin.
Yeah.
And I think people are like, "You should."
I rebut a lot
more.
You should
sell.
I rebut a lot.
And I just literally every time I get close, because it would be like when they were up or whatever.
Oh, they're like 35, 40.
And I have a really great penguin. Like I should probably sell it. And then I'll have this. Literally, something out of the blue will happen, or I ask them for like at Art Basel or something. I asked him for a favor for something for white walls.
Yeah.
And he was so incredibly amazing about it. I was like, "That's just this." I
you don't meet that many people.
No,
like
he
that.
makes time, and he doesn't, and he's busy.
Well, and when I got to the Punchy Penguin part, and he was like, "Queen bees." I was like, "Oh my God, this is like," he just makes you that, and how it's for him, it's a lot because he has so many people to keep happy.
Yeah.
But the fact that he recognizes it, it also shows. Like, what are all these other people doing? Yeah. It's just not that fucking hard.
He remembers everybody. Like, we were at the...
You can have a support team that also helps you do that. It's just not that hard. I would tell you, Julian, who I'm friends with, former CEO of Doodles, did a really fantastic job of this.
Yeah, I've heard Julian was very good at that.
I felt kind of shitty reading some of the Doodle tweets about him. I was like...
It's really... we were actually supposed to meet today. But something came up. I'm gonna see him tomorrow. Because we're friends.
Yeah.
Like just to be, and that's what's so great is like we had this. We're friends now.
I've only heard good things about him.
He just all in cared about the community, cared about Doodles, and I understand sometimes they want to change things.
Yeah.
I don't. you know,
You can't
from personal experience, and
you can't scapegoat them though.
but they did.
Yeah, like that left a
And that was hard for
weird
me.
taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, we're
I thought
moving
we
on
weren't going
and
to talk about this, but now that we are,
going to a new era, and I'm
Well, to be fair, the team.
wait,
most of that
are
team
you
is-
announcing right now that you're going to put all your
no.
things in
No.
your burn wallet?
No, we did make some jokes about that initially. I was like, man, that burn wall is about to look really crazy. But no.
fire.
No, I mean, I still proud doodle holder. And I know they're crazy busy right now, but I feel like and I'm probably gonna get so much crap for this, but I had reached out to certain people when this change happened, and I feel like if you have a holder that is somebody who's painted a fucking whole wall for Miami Art Basel of doodles, that reaches out and is like, hey, just want to talk about things, you know, I feel like they should get a response back.
Yeah.
And nothing.
We've had
Crickets.
We
Well, that's why I was-
both had issues of founders not reaching out to us.
Well, and so like I have a little bit of PTSD from certain previous artists becoming CEOs of projects and then the project's not doing well. And so I was like, hey, I just would like
you're
hey,
making
let's
me
talk.
want to quit the space during this.
Yeah. I was like, hey, let's have a chat. And yeah.
That's
nothing as of yet, but I know they're really busy. So
That's
I'm sure
tough.
we'll get around to it.
I think there's very like that's why I was asking earlier, like how did you know like what made you go to Doodles?
So Doodles was because I just honestly it was probably an emotional
I got you.
reaction, but also the rainbows, the cats,
Gotcha. You
all the
like
girly
the rarity structure.
Yeah, all the girly
Found a lot of
crap,
stuff.
and then Pharrell is a big. I'm huge Louis Vuitton.
Gotcha.
Anybody that knows,
Yes,
like you
yes,
say,
yes.
the bags, all of the rare. So
Let's talk about your Louis Vuitton thing. She's not just a big fan. She has a personal Louis Vuitton seller, like a
it's the
person.
rep. He's a rep. But
all
I
the
get
people who
videos.
buy
He
a
sends,
bunch of
he
Louis
sends
have one.
videos to her like, "Hey, Lindsay, I got this amazing thing bag for you," and she sends them. I don't.
Benny's buying
collect-
bags too.
No, actually, I did want to buy the binoculars. That was the only thing I ever was like, oh, that was kind of cool. But they literally had like a bag that was also binoculars. And the guy sells really well. I'm not gonna lie. Your personal.
How do you feel
Louis
about
Vuitton-
the like pixelated clothing collection that is newer that Pharrell's working on? Do you
Oh,
feel like
the-
that? Like they kind of remind me of punks.
So some of it's good, some of it's interesting. I just got some of it I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I was like, some of it I'm always like, who I see these things, but I've never actually seen somebody wear them.
Yeah.
But it's always fascinating. And I think that they just make things also for shock value. Oftentimes like the binocular bag.
It gets attention.
They did send me that bag and I got it and I was like, I mean, this is cool and all, but I would feel absolutely ridiculous wearing this.
Do you have?
do you
is,
have
it, is
it?
it the duck
I sent it
bag?
back.
Do you have a duck bag?
Why'd you send it back? Why'd you send it to me?
It was like 12 grand.
Oh, okay. Wait,
Be-
were they
Benny
really
will
buy-
spend 12 grand on a Christie's auction. He doesn't even want to win, but he won't spend 12 grand on a.
That's him being charitable.
Yes, that is trying to
I
help
should
out.
have actually just given you the freaking binoculars. I should message him and be like, just send them back because Benny wearing the Louis Vuitton binoculars
I would
might
wear
just
them
make
all
my
over the
life.
Can you imagine Benny at the bar chatting up Wall Street guy with his QR code?
Okay, I'm
out?
so texting my rep right now and being like, okay, send the stupid
No,
binoculars
not
back.
after 12,000. But if they have, do they have one for like so I can carry my snake around, like a snake pouch?
Not drugs.
I just bought. Yeah, by the way, I just bought
That bag is so good.
That was the best bag. I use that bag all the time when I travel.
Yeah. And you
And-
don't put drugs in it.
and I don't
Do your
put drugs
kids
in
look at that and ask, "Daddy, what's in your not drugs bag?"
My kids, when they see this later on in life, are gonna look back and be like, "Man, I was so confused about what my dad was doing."
I have the coolest dad.
And then, but now I realize all the things he was doing. Like, I try not. I don't vape in front of them, right?
No vapes. Yeah.
No.
No.
But like once in a while, my daughter will walk in, I'm vaping, and she's like, "Is there smoke in this room?" I'm like,
What do you mean?
Like, no. And so they got to a point like they're like, "Oh, that's Daddy's medicine." And I'm like, yeah.
As long as you explain they shouldn't try the medicine themselves when they have a headache or
It's
something.
not going to help them. It's not aspirin.
All right, we'll just take this off, okay? We were just anyways, you're into art. Sorry, we were just off the record talking about how I took my daughter's ADHD medicine.
And had the best day ever.
I did. I had the best day, and I texted you right. when I
Right,
did it.
because you put it on Twitter, and I was like, yeah, that I would take that off of Twitter because it's illegal, but that's cute. I love that.
It's fine. My
You're
wife's
taking
like,
a controlled substance that belongs to your kid, and you just put it on Twitter.
Amira's like, I can't believe you did that. I was like, it's really good. She's like, should I try it? I was like, yeah, try
Yes.
once, because like honestly, like
I try it.
I was so focused.
That house.
I'm gonna
I
come
just want
over.
to be a fly on the wall
That
for like a freaking day.
I
wanna
was
come try
never
it.
more focused than when I took my daughter's ADHD medicine. I like
it
had the
Adderall?
best.
It's it's like Adderall. It doesn't have the methamphetamine part of it in it.
Okay.
It's but another way of getting to the
It's
same
like
outcome.
Benny did crack for the first time.
I mean, that's how my husband made it through high school, was smoking pot, because he literally had such horrible ADHD that he couldn't focus.
I feel like smoking a bunch of pot induced ADHD on me.
So if you don't
I think it
have
can,
that's
right.
what they also say about like taking Adderall or anything else.
Yeah.
When you don't need it for your actual problems, you're doing it for other reasons, it can cause you to actually you can't focus, you can't.
No, I'm like context switching every 6 seconds. And it also doesn't help when you're in front of like a 49-inch screen with 75 Chrome tabs open. And you're just like, oh, that number changed. Oh, that number changed. Oh, that number changed.
Yeah,
Oh,
it drives you crazy. Like you can't smoke and trade. I think you can't smoke. Let me take that back. I think for
you can
certain
smoke and
people-
trade NFTs, but you can't do it meme coins.
Yes, that for sure. I think it's tougher to do with meme coins because you can get so neurotic.
I'm getting
with it.
smoked. Literally. Like you buy it and then 6 hours later, you're like, oh yeah, I bought that thing. Wonder how it's doing. And you're like, wow, it's down 98%.
Or it's up 98%, then you don't sell.
With the NFTs, they never really went down 98% in a day. They were like slow drops.
No, they were slow drips for sure. I definitely appreciate the NFT days because it was a little bit, the cook was a little slower. So you had time to get
But
in
you
and
had
out.
time to like look at the collection and like buy things.
There was it's a hobby of that. Just
Buy
it's almost like
things you
searching through a
like.
catalog,
Yeah,
and
for
that's how I
sure.
view things.
You weren't just like, oh, this ticker's penis. Like, I'll just
Right.
buy it.
Dot ETH.
I'm like, how can anybody take this seriously with all these stupid names of these coins?
How-
Can we not just like name it something normal and like get behind it rather than it being like dick? And we're like, oh, good.
How-
Another dick coin.
How have you
love
found?
Bitcoins.
Because you trade memes here and there.
We
How
don't publicly usually talk about that, but yeah.
we're not talking about that.
It's okay, we can.
Do you find it like exhausting? Do you do it just as a little bit of a gamble?
So I would actually tell you, I swore up and down that I wasn't going to get into that.
yeah.
Here we go.
And this guy.
And he and Zanzibar are blowing at my phone about, I don't even remember what it was.
Monday.
No, oh God, no. This was pre-Monday.
Okay.
Monday's still surviving.
Monday's a slow cook. It's like an
I'm
NFT.
aware. I
Building
yeah.
an AI. But yeah, it was other coins.
But it was something else, and I was like, fine, I'll buy as much soul as I'll spend on this.
Yeah.
And I did. And then that app that you were doing,
Yeah, Vector.
Vector, you had, and so then for a while I was really into that. And I was only putting in like,
Couple soul. Yeah.
not, I mean, oftentimes it was like $25 worth just to like
Get it.
like an arcade game.
Get a taste.
I don't even know where I took my Vector off and I forgot my.
I have it on my
seed
phone.
phrase.
I use it over Dex Trainer.
So I moved it to my Phantom wallet because I would just I didn't want to forget about it.
Well, you can export it, so you
Yeah,
can,
that's what I did
Yeah.
because I know some people that didn't and they got locked out.
Yeah, I'm locked.
If people, anybody using a trading app, any good trading app has the ability to just export your private key into Phantom, and that's like the first thing I do
I would
before
say that's the same thing about art apps. I feel like there should not be a platform where you buy art to a wallet that's only to your email address or phone number that you can't export.
Yeah,
I feel like that's just bad.
that was the one.
Not that I'm throwing anybody under the bus there, but
Well, no, that was the one thing that I always gave shade about with Nifty. Nifty Gateway was like you had auction houses.
In all auctions?
rodeo.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My rodeo stuff does go.
No,
to my
rodeo-
wallet.
That's because if you
If you locked it up with, she's
Okay,
right.
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
logged in with your wallet,
That's what I did.
then it was
but
fine.
a lot of people, like the whole thing was like trying to
Got
make
you.
it more mainstream. So people
Yeah.
were logging in with their emails, but then you couldn't access the wallet anywhere.
Yeah.
So like
I mean,
for
I
white
think-
walls, people couldn't access their art out.
Yeah, that.
And I think what they were trying to go for was this Instagram. I mean, they're still around even, or like people
Yeah,
use it.
they're still around.
Yeah. I stopped. I used to use it.
I did too, but my wallet now was just full of so much.
I like
crap. Not crap.
I
but crap.
thousands and thousands of pieces of art. I was like, okay.
I
so-
fucked up where one day, like, I did it for like 3 weeks straight, and then I lost my streak.
Oh, and then
when I lost
it
my
takes
streak,
your
I stopped
steam out of
caring.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Because I was like, well, fuck, like, I was burned 21 days.
I just like I guess I like there was some stuff I liked. I just felt I thought it was a nice experiment. It's not anything new. I didn't understand why everybody thought it was like this innovative thing. Like I thought it was a nice idea, but it's kind
It
of based on
was
a bunch of other
better
stuff.
than scrolling Instagram.
Yeah, I get
Like-
that,
Yeah. Okay.
But it was like,
but that's about it.
yeah. I found like 2 artists I didn't know through there.
So I found one
Yeah.
that I didn't know.
I guess I wish like that was like kind of my biggest.
Well, that was what I was pitching initially. Was like it was like artist discovery because our algorithms on.
I thought it would
unless
be-
you know
yeah.
people, which we're fortunate that we have it. But even our span,
We're always finding
right? So then we find out about it from each other. But if you don't have this group of people, how are you? It's whatever's on your
I mean,
Twitter
it could
feed.
take time and they
do you
figure it out, but I just don't think they
do you
will.
find,
I
like,
would wish it was better artists.
you're at a point now where you need like a soft, warm introduction from somebody you know to like get into a new artist. Because I feel like I've been burned a few times, and if I don't have somebody who like I know and trust,
If I'm gonna spend a good amount of money on
Yeah.
it, absolutely. I actually want to know.
like you don't care on rodeo, you're like I'm paying $1 or whatever.
30
10
cents.
cents or
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
But like if I'm gonna pay $2,000 or $5,000, it's like I
right,
need
because
to,
also I think all of us in this room, for the most part, we have people that watch our wallets, and
Yeah.
so like if I don't want to buy something, spend a good
Not
amount of money.
mine.
Oh, Benny has 7. Benny has
He can't find his wallet.
Yeah, I don't know.
because
He was like, I lost a Beeple today. I'm like, you what?
I did.
he has
I
7.
found it. I
But
found
how
it.
can you do that? Because
No, I
you
just got-
literally
I didn't
can just
lose it.
find
I
the
was-
art on OpenSea and go
Benny
back to your
has a
wallet.
stack of laptops like the Geek Squad, where it's just like each laptop has one wallet on it. and-
No, more than one wallet. They have like 16 or something.
no
They have like
labels.
42 wallets because I tried to add it to his White Walls account for him because
Oh
they
my
were
God.
like, this has a bunch of stuff. And I was like, what is happening right now?
I literally have hundreds of wallets. It's fine though because now nobody can find my art, which is great, and I kind of enjoy that. Also, I don't
Including
know where
you.
I can't find my art.
So we haven't talked enough about White Walls. I was trying to get us there through the
Yeah,
journey
well, yeah, because I think that's part of this like journey that you went through.
going from
Yeah.
PFPs.
Well, so, and I think even back to like DK walks,
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
huge collector of DK. I love DK. He's a great example. So I think after being burned with the Invisible Friend stuff, and the garbage friend stuff, typical friend stuff. And then I started, when I was spending more money on art, I wanted to be sure I was not supporting somebody that I was going to buy something and be like, I wish I didn't have this piece
Right.
of art.
Yes.
What was the first piece that you got that you remember? Like, there's like, oh, this is my first like art piece.
Gosh, I think one of the ones that got a whole bunch of attention was when I bought my Chromie Squiggle.
yeah.
Yes.
And it was mostly, that was another like kind of sideways weird protesting because I had always wanted it. Once I figured out what a squiggle was, and then I was like, rainbow, this is like,
Yeah,
hello, can you
fuck
think
yeah,
of them?
like,
Right. These
ton
are
of rainbows.
amazing. And
You
then,
didn't know Eric then at all, though.
No, but I knew who he was. But
I mean,
it was at the
everybody
time,
knows who he
of
is.
course. Of course. He just messages me on. He's like, neighborhood asshole. That's like the text I get from him now. He's like, hey, neighborhood asshole, because he's like, I always call him an asshole because he ends up doing something to like stab. He like has those passive jokes where he like takes a stab at you.
Well, you can't say that in public.
But he's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
He's
everybody's
absolutely
supposed
the
to
nicest guy.
believe.
That's why it's funny that he says,
Yeah,
I'm just your
right.
neighborhood asshole.
Because
but
like
he's not.
everybody, we have created this atmosphere where we tell everybody that Eric's the nicest person in the world. They don't know that he's really a fucking jerk off.
See, the thing, I always feel very lucky that I got to talk to Eric before Artbox existed,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to see him for like the nicest guy that he is before all the like sycophantic worshipers came and worshipped at the altar of
And
Artbox.
he's just so humble. I think when I first met him, I was like, wait, you are what? Yeah. Like I'm so confused.
Do you want to hear the best thing? So we did a podcast with him that
yeah.
unfortunately can't be released until I think he said his mother and father move on, or
basically like both his
Basically-
parents need to die. His kids need to be 45.
45. He'll let us.
That's gonna be a bit.
We have it recorded
Because I think they're like 7.
But it was
or
it was a very interesting podcast. There was a lot going on and whatever. Anyways, in the middle of the podcast, Eric and I found out, Dee's asked the question, that I knew Eric in a chat room totally differently like 6 years ago. when we were collecting something called this coin called Stratus, and I had this nickname, and he's like, "Wait a minute, the general." He's like, "Wait, you were the general?" I was like, "Yeah, I was the general." And we found out like we knew each other back then. I just didn't know it was Eric.
like
And then,
2017.
I didn't talk to him for I talked to him there, and then I left, and then we all left, and then
he minted CryptoPunks.
yeah, and then he mixed
He didn't tell you about the CryptoPunks he minted after you got rugged on
motherfucker.
Stratus.
No, but to be fair, I saw them. I just didn't. I got them right after. It wasn't the big deal.
Well, he's amazing, but the squiggle was huge because it was rainbows, and it was at the time that Kevin Rose was liquidating all this stuff.
Oh, did
so
you
I
buy
actually
one of his?
bought
Oh,
Kevin
right,
Rose's.
you bought Kevin Rose's squiggle.
It's historical. What type of squiggle is it?
Oh, don't call me on. I don't that.
No.
It's very colorful.
Is
It's
it a
very-
full range? Like, is there?
Now Eric's gonna be like, you don't know your traits.
Well,
I
no. I mean,
I don't
there's
have
really
that.
not that many traits. It's like it's either like
It's a lot of colors.
it's. Is it a?
Can I tell you a secret?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because you know how
It's gonna be on. I mean, I don't know if it's a secret
it's
anymore.
not that much of a secret. You know how close I am with Eric, and I love him, and I love squiggles. I literally don't know any of the traits either.
Oh, okay.
So just to be fair, like it's
I'm a nerd. I have.
he knows. I ask you a lot about those things.
Yeah.
And punks, same thing. I'm like,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not a nerd in the sense like I don't have a spreadsheet with all the fucking spread breakdowns.
no,
like
that's a little crazy.
the people who discovered full and perfect spectrums and shit. But I was.
Are you in the new full and perfect spectrum?
Yeah, I think I'm like one of 25 or one of 26 people who has like a full set of the traits.
Right. I think.
And then I
is
told
it
myself
that little.
Yeah.
I didn't.
That
I
means-
didn't even think there were that many.
that means you have a hyper rainbow,
Yeah.
a bold, a pipe, a slinky.
Okay, see, some of those I would have guessed. I knew some of those.
Yeah. So it's like those like
You don't have a hyper rainbow?
they're expensive. They're they're cheaper now.
No, they're pretty cheap now. But, I'm not pretty cheap. I'm just saying a lot cheaper.
60 ETH or 50 ETH I think was last
I
sell.
mean,
But
I really liked mine, and it was Kevin Rose's, and I wanted
No,
him
I
to
think
not
it's
have it
great that you
anymore.
bought that.
I just imagine yours is like it has a full rainbow plus of color.
Yes.
That's what people will pay a premium for, even though it doesn't have a trait.
To be fair,
because it's-
Kevin bought some really good artwork.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that's nice. I thought Kevin was going to
beautiful.
buy my X Copy 101. That's why I paid a lot of money for it, and then he didn't buy it.
I think if he stayed around, he might have. He bought art. I mean, like
He bought some expensive stuff.
he did. He
like
bought a lot of
$1 million
stuff.
pieces.
But again, that goes back to what I said about him. He didn't. He bought it because like other people were like buying, and because he's probably a sociopath with like dead eyes and no soul. He just literally copied, traded what other people did. So someone's like,
Dead eyes and no soul.
He didn't seem like he had a whole lot of conviction about what he was doing.
no, well, he has no soul. So how could you have conviction if you have no? Have you ever met the guy in person?
Yes.
I did this last episode. I'm just saying, like, anybody who's met him in person, if they could literally tell me that he has a soul, like he's literally
segment of Benny roasting Kevin Rose across all three
It's all
podcasts.
just about.
But the guy's empty. Like you have a conversation, you're like this. He's like, yeah.
That's
And like,
called a K-hole.
That's what I was. Yeah, that sounds
called
like
a
it.
no,
K-hole.
oh, so he's just in a K-hole all the time.
No, I mean, but that's the same
Maybe
response.
he did make comment that
He did. He was.
that
He's
like
on ketamine therapy.
he was on ketamine therapy, so maybe he is, and it just
That-
sucked his soul out,
replaced it with
replaced it with like a filler or something. Yeah.
So we go back to white walls. Where
Okay, so
Collecting
DK
some
Walks
art.
even is a good example. But I was using the.
got your squiggle.
I'm in Texas. I have a house that has a lot of televisions. Texas just does things different.
Yeah, big TVs.
Big TVs, lots of them.
So different.
I have 5 TVs outside on my patio.
You were
stuff
like, I don't
that.
have a lot of wall space. We just have
Wait,
windows and TVs.
That's because I.
You have 5 TVs on just your patio?
Well, yeah. And then the summer kitchen, yeah, by the pool, yeah. So
and you were like, I need a fucking.
so that
way
was
to
how I
use
was
these.
displaying art was. So but I was having to use like the Photos app.
Oh,
And like DK's walks
worst.
don't walk.
No.
Or they,
like, you got-
like
it's a glitchy GIF or like a JPEG that.
yeah.
You can't
And then
even
if you
export.
cycle through, they don't. So it was like always an issue for
Yeah.
me. And so eventually, I always had a passion to try to display it because I do have a lot of televisions, don't have a lot of wall space, have digital art that I wanted to display even back before I was in what we would say the art side of things, more on the
Yeah,
PFP
you want to
side of
show
things.
off your doodles.
Yeah,
You want to show off
exactly.
what you're
And
collecting.
so it was always something I was interested in. I had a variety of other. I never had a token frame, but I had some other variety of and just nothing was great.
And they're not great. The proprietary screen, proprietary software that the company is probably not going to last more than 5 years, and you're not going to be able to update it.
And if there's an issue with it, nobody's going to touch it.
No. And then if you have a big collection, you can't search your pieces.
You have to, and you're literally right-click saving it to get it onto these pieces.
Yeah.
Because so it's like, what are we doing here? We're now destroying the quality to display it on a device that you spent way more than. I mean, you can go to Costco and buy a television.
You could buy a really nice OLED TV for like underneath.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can buy
like
Costco,
a really nice one, like almost like 100 inches at this point.
And it's OLED. It's like actually
I
not
don't
like a
think
shitty
they
panel.
measure TVs in 100 inches though.
It'd be like
I think it's
95.
80
inches?
But that would be a good
And
a
then there's
solid
a-
number.
there's a
But no,
hun-
they always do it weird. That's why I always thought
There's
it's like
100
98 inches is what it is.
55 inch, 65
Yeah,
inch,
it's like
75
what's
inch.
up with these? Like,
It
I
is
think the
weird.
one I have that I use like to do my post, it's like 98 inches. I was like, what was up with the? Why
Yeah.
did we stop at 98 inches? I don't know.
Those 2 inches.
But you were like, we could do something way better.
So I had always wanted to figure it out. I met my fellow co-founders that had already started actually in Marfa the year. I met them shortly after my husband had passed. And so again, I was still in the build mode, still in trying to do something. I had this crypto. So I kind of, naively, I guess at the time, it was like, one, I can kind of give, my husband a nice solid fuck you for dying or whatever by taking his crypto and spending it on shit he would not have wanted me to do, which is spend it anyway at all, unless I needed to. But then again, do something different with my life that was totally change where I was because we worked together, everything. So I wanted something that was just my own.
Was it to like fill a void in a lot
I mean,
of ways?
I think it wasn't necessarily even filling a void. It was, I didn't want to be in that we'd built this life or whatever, and that was over. So I needed something
Starts at
that I
the-
was passionate about.
Yeah.
So it was I met my co-founders who had come up in Marfa. So that would have been Marfa, I guess 2023. They had been there, had seen a lot of different, shows or whatever that was going on in Marfa, and everybody was having issues with display. Like there would be like the little, even if they've got like they were using the Mac, whatever the big computer is to try to, do a really good job of it. Inevitably Apple will drop an update. And so like at the bottom of the screen, there's like a thing bouncing or like you're getting, the notification. No matter what you do, there was always some issue or it wasn't working, the USB sticks, all these different things. But again, at the end of the day, you're taking your very fancy, very expensive digital art, you're saving it, which ruins the quality because of compression or everything else. And then you're putting it on a device that again has also the processors and the televisions are not great. So it's all these different things that come to be that basically make the art look like shit.
So this became really, White Whales is really like a passion for you because, I've heard you talk about it a lot. And the way you talk about it is not really as much as a product, but something that you felt really strongly that like, I want to be able to show my art. I want to show it to other people.
Right.
And this is like sort of a way for you to create a solution, almost like, of course it's a product, but really more as a patron, right?
Yeah.
In a way to as creating a legacy for the artists that you love.
Well, and also giving a use case for people to need to buy digital art or want to buy digital. Like, what am I going to do with it? It just sits literally in this thing,
You're gonna
a
fucking
file.
OpenSea?
Go
look at your collection.
I mean, right, exactly. You need a use case for it. I mean, I remember when of course, my parents, everything's going on changing in my life, and I start buying this stuff, and they're like, I think even the Chromie Squiggles, usually the story I tell, my dad was like, that looks like Candy Crush to me, because I'm like showing him my Chromie Squiggle on my phone. He's like, what is that, like a game? I was like, no. So, but then now, it was something, once I was able to display it in my home.
Yeah.
Now my dad wants one. He wants to have, art. And
But that's
so but it was
a
a passion thing also to give artists. I think I remember the early days of artists being like, wow, I've never had my art displayed in anybody's home before because it was just never really a thing. Yeah. And you could see it on somebody's computer, but like to have it shown on. And so it was like these very emotional moments or we've had some people that like they'll have kids that have special needs and they can't, but now they're able to share their art and like the kids are able to do it. So it's just like all these different things that have come to be about it. So for me initially, it was just to I already have all these televisions up. I don't have wall space.
Yeah.
And by the way, the ease of being able to change out my art,
on your phone, you're just like,
yeah, quickly. It changes the vibe of the room. If I'm having a bad day, I can put up something very violent and the whole room is red, or I can put up a live piece that's pink and makes the whole room pink. It's that, that's one of the perks of the digital
when you
backlit
took
art.
a smart approach too of not making a proprietary hardware thing, but focusing on the application layer.
You're never, I mean, it's probably what, LG probably?
Yeah, these are
there's a
both
Samsung, there's LG. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're never going to compete.
No, you're going to buy a shitty panel made by a similar manufacturer with worse whatever
it's going to be
on it.
I mean, in 6 months, my 98-inch thing that's hanging in my formal living room is now considered old model.
They're just getting better.
And what is it, 2 years old?
No, it's 6 months old, but now there's like a thinner, better, whatever one that's half the price.
Like they're getting to the point where I saw the wallpaper that they created. It's like it looks great.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting better.
It's
and
crazy
better
when
and
you
better.
pull up your TV and it's like LG and there's like a Brian Brinkman fucking thing on it. You're like, what the fuck? Like, that's
Yeah.
Brian? Like, that's our Brian? Like,
Yeah,
that's
right?
on the LG thing.
I do love seeing that.
But
like for me too, I think a lot of companies have tried before. They came in with the idea of solving this, but then people want to make money, and it's not an easy, quick way to make money with an app or anything else. So you can sell hardware and make money pretty quick, but you can only sell so, especially if you're only selling to this small pond of people. Like we like to think we're big people, but
you got a
there's
couple
not
hundred
that
people maybe. Like your
Right.
TAM is so small.
And then your technology is going to be bunking out of date by the time you get it from wherever you're because you're likely not making it. And if you are making it, it's going to be really slow. So then the turnover rate, we were, the co-founders and I were very clear in the beginning, we never want to be in hardware.
No.
Because it's just even storage, it's just a nightmare.
It's just a nightmare.
And with the way it's set up now, it's like you just either need like a Apple TV or some type of Apple product hooked up to the TV.
It doesn't even have to be Apple anymore. Any like a Chromecast, Amazon, anything. The only thing that we're not on anymore, Fire Stick.
Oh wow.
We're now on. Yep. So the only thing that we're not on currently is the native LG store or the native Samsung store.
Okay. Are those hard to get on?
We're not on native on Roku either. So every one of them have their own coding software. Like they run on different. And I don't remember all of this, but
it's
literally
like one of them.
So if we started with the bigger one, which was a lot of people use Apple. Plus they have Test Flight, so it was really good because you have to when you submit for Test Flight, if you have a bug. I remember back seats would call it whack-a-mole. So they would solve one problem, but then we would cause something else. Well, if you're trying to do this like on Samsung or LG or any of these other platforms, you have to go through an approval process every time you update your app. So if you put something out and it's bunk and the app, you crash the app, you could be down for it. But Test Flight, you can literally within a minute, we would have a new update. So it was a really great way to start. A lot of people had Apple. I'm currently blocked from buying any more Apple TVs because I bought so many for a while and we were giving them away.
Well, I mean, you were like the Apple TV dealer.
Yeah, right. And Apple was like, they were like, "Are you selling this?" I was like, "No, I'm giving them away. Why would you not sell me anymore?" So I was like having to go to Target and Best Buy.
You opened her like trunk of her car and she's like, just dealing out the Apple TVs.
Well, even when we were in like Indiana, you like got the Apple TV hooked up to the hotel.
Yeah, wherever hotel she's at, she has one.
Yeah.
So let's still go through this. So you basically speed run our community, right? In a lot of ways, you found out that you have a decent amount of crypto. You start buying NFTs. You start this passion project. You start going into art, like with all of those amazing things. And I think that you're like, the way our relationship. We've talked a lot as friends and a way of like bonding over these same types of feelings about like being patrons. Where do you want to go now? It's like you created sort of like the passion project that you want to have a legacy for. Now that let's hope everybody uses it, sort of thing. You're definitely collecting. Your collection is amazing. What would you want next?
Again, it's just the support. So I think it's twofold. It's kind of a selfish thing. I mean, I would tell you it's a completely selfish because I get such a great feeling out of supporting and like the community, this family of people. I mean, we go to these events,
Go
even
to a fucking
non
Creed concert.
Yeah, we go to Creed concert. We, not even
Linkin Park.
Web3 art events. We do other things. So part of
Maybe
it
we
is
should tell
supporting
people what the
community.
Creed concert was so they understand. Because I think that's like a really.
It was a Creed concert. It was like a group of
No.
12
It wasn't just a Creed concert. I'm going to get back to your future in a minute. Die with the most likes. If people don't know this, is like the biggest Creed fan I've ever met in my life. And he decided that he was going to get a group of us to go. He rented a bus, made us t-shirts, and we all met in the Midwest somewhere.
Did Ian get the bus?
No, I think
Oh, Di did?
yeah.
Okay.
Or no,
I think they did it together.
Ian,
Because I kept trying to pay Ian and he wouldn't take any
No,
money.
yeah. I think we did it together. But like he did this whole, and now we're going to Corn
Yeah, in Columbus.
in Columbus, right?
Well, you went to
In
Lincoln
May.
Park. I didn't make it there.
I
but
missed the Lincoln Park one, but like
Was
it's
Linkin Park
a good
good?
group.
it
It's
was good.
Mary
It was
and
Mary, Ned.
and it's
We got a group
Roger.
of like, what, 15 people in a Telegram chat?
Yeah.
We
We don't
did.
talk about anything
We
other
don't-
than
no.
music.
I mean, I sent,
Divorced Dad Rock.
Yeah.
I sent some stupid Instagrams sometimes, but otherwise, like
That's
yeah,
one group you've never left.
that is a group I never
I
left.
think that's not true.
Did he leave? Oh, yeah, he did. I added him back. Yep.
I
Yep.
left once, but
But
I've
the
only
other
left
groups
once.
I'm in, he leaves once a week. But
Once
that
a
group,
week.
That one I only went once.
And then he's like, and then he texts you, add me back. I'm
he's like, when's the concert again? I need to be back in the group.
So I'm coming to that next concert. But my point is that Di has this obsession, and now I sing the song all the time, like at home to my kids. Like, oh, they're a pretty good band.
Higher?
Yeah.
As
They're
cars,
pretty
as
good.
cars
Take
hitting the
me
vape.
Oh
higher.
no.
No?
Might should cut that.
All right, now. No, that was great.
Can you take me higher? Just
To
spin
a
it on the
place
couch.
where I die and I.
Oh god.
Okay, go back to your future. So, what do you want? What does Blondie / Lindsay want now and
I mean,
her life and what
cruise
she's doing?
control basically of continuing
nice.
to do what we're doing,
Yeah.
and trying to also advance this. I hate that the space.
Yeah. How else would you say it?
I don't know.
I
I don't
try
know,
to
but
say
I think
crypto
I
art.
say community now. I try because I
Try to
don't like
advance crypto art. Try to advance
digital art.
I don't want to say Web3.
or NFTs.
I mean, I feel like there's
The culture, like
the culture. Yeah, I just feel like there's ways that we need to like push sort of that patronage, And I know like there's others that we're
It's-
friends with, like talking to Raul. You know Raul? So like he was just having this conversation with me about pushing this.
I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
I don't know.
Paul, you know Raul Paul?
I don't know.
He runs this
He's a
like
good guy.
yeah, he's a good guy. But I was just having this conversation with him about patronage and like how like we need as a community to get the right people to push forward because we're building. Like we are literally building the foundation right now.
Well, and if it's who I think you're talking about, yeah, he's a good example of a really great patron of the arts. Maybe not very loud about it,
No, I think he's quiet, but in the spots that he does, he speaks about it, right?
which is important.
Yes.
because I think we need all kinds.
Yeah, especially in like that finance world where like people are, ugh,
Right.
So like I think
Which is nice because he doesn't make it super.
A lot of the biggest
painful.
art patrons feel like come from finance or money. I mean,
and they're quiet. Like
Yeah.
I think like Alan Howard.
Howards.
Alan Howard is an amazing patron of the space and super quiet. Canvas, nobody really, he's anonymous, and I could tell you he's an amazing patron for the space. I think funny enough, some of them that are the quietest versus some of the people who are the loudest in the past, you see a big difference between the two. And I just wonder if like
some of the loudest people are just gone.
I think it.
a lot of them are
a
gone.
lot of the people who are really loud are gone.
I think it's important that there's both
Yeah, no, agreed. I think there's a mix. We need to have a mix. Yeah.
because it's different.
Some of the loud ones were like just loud to get exit liquidity, and then once they found exit liquidity, they're like, yeah, I'm out of here.
So, unfortunately, some artists also.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not going to name names like Pack or anything, but like
drop a couple open editions and
Yeah.
maybe.
I guess like I wonder, talking about Pack, I mean, just because we brought it up, like,
Because you brought it up.
$300 million.
it's just, I still can't get over how it's just done. Now, I listen, there's people who will argue with me like, well, he finished his project, he's going to come back, or I don't know, it feels like a grift to me. It doesn't feel like
I don't like when people pop in and out when the market's
Yeah.
good. It's like
why don't you just keep going when the market is bad?
well, or like they try to go traditional art and then they come back around.
We're gonna max
occasionally.
extract on this one, boys.
Yeah, and also like
1,000%.
you know how many artists got hurt?
There's something to the writing it out as a community culture, whatever. There's just part of it, and you don't even have to put out art during those times if you're not gonna be able to sell it, but not just disappearing.
No, I agree. And I think for me also the Ash thing really, I saw how many artists got hurt with that. And it was really hard for me. Like I remember sitting at breakfast with a couple artists and they just got crushed in like an hour. And I'm like, what do I do? And like, that was upsetting. With that said, like I did enjoy Pax's art. I thought it was interesting. I thought he was doing some innovative stuff that like I love. But like, I guess like when you're in and then you just leave, like that's okay. I understand people coming back when they're like, hey, I was working on things like, oh, I was an artist. I needed to get a job. I was trying to do my best. Like, I'm not talking about that. I get that.
You're talking about people who made millions of dollars.
Correct. I'm talking about people who made millions of dollars, left, and now are going to come back and like, hey, we're going to innovate on chain again. I'm like, when the push came to shove, you were not here.
It is a little bit different, versus the traditional art world because in that case, it was just about the art. But I think that's one of the things that this space provides is you get to know the artists are generally alive. You get to know them. A lot of what you're buying is who the art says more because you know who this person is or the way they move and the way they do. I mean, Dye is a perfect example.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Atreides team is a perfect example.
Yep.
I mean, Sam Spratt, another good one. Like
You own a skull, right?
I do own a skull. How did you know?
I don't know.
Do you own a skull?
How? Yeah. I remember the call I got from Benny.
You only got one?
Yeah. Well,
That was an easy one though.
Benny tried to get me to buy skulls early on. You didn't get me to try to mint or bid. So in hindsight, Sam's approach to the space was like very quiet and very observatory. Like when he got into crypto, he was listening to my spaces every day because I would see the picture of Luci, and I never am somebody who is like, hey, Mr. Person in the audience, come on down. Like I was very much like, you want to listen? I'm never going to bother you to like come talk. So I never talked to him. I just saw that he spent literally hours listening to me talk every day because I was hosting spaces for 8 to 12 hours a day, like a psycho.
You were doing a lot of spaces back then.
Yeah.
A lot.
I was like waking up, making breakfast, smoking weed, and hosting a space all day. And it was great. Like I got to meet everybody like that. And I don't regret it at all. I just like burnt myself out after like 6 months of that. But anyway, Sam's first auctions came out. I'm never somebody who bids if I know I don't have a chance to win. Like I didn't see the point of just like putting a 0.5 ETH bid in when I know something's going to go for 10 ETH. So I just like never bid. So hindsight, that was stupid because it was like, it's aware of Sam, really liked what he was doing. I just couldn't afford like 10 plus ETH one-on-ones. Skulls come out. Benny I think, buys the first one, right?
Yeah, I bought the first one.
Yeah, for like under 10 ETH.
It's 6.9.
And I was like,
I think that's what I paid for mine too.
I told him, I was super candid. I was like,
Without the point.
I like 4 of these, like out of the 50. Like there's like 4 that resonate with me, and none of them are available. And the one I like the most is Frankie's, who he's never going to sell it. It's Binary Falls. It's the fucking 3D glasses one, but not 3D glasses, but like Sam's version of 3D glasses. So fast forward like a year and a half, one of the 4 I like gets listed on the floor. Now, the floor 60 some ETH. And I had just sold a ringer to G-Funk.
Yeah.
And I just sold a Fidenza. And I just sold a Punk to Curated for like 190 ETH. So I had like 200 ETH just sitting there. And Benny called me. He's like, do you see what's on the floor right now? And I'm like, no. And he's like, go look. And I'm like, okay, this is like one of the 4 I actually really like. And like, I told him the ones I liked like a year before this was available.
Oh yeah, he's like this. He doesn't keep track of a lot of things very well, but skulls.
But he'll remember the skulls.
I remember that.
It was Frankie's,
I don't remember anything.
Vince's, mine, and Rachel's is one of them, but it doesn't count because
Yeah,
like
'cause she's
Rachel's
never
is never gonna be for sale. And then
Who sold it? I'm trying to remember who sold it.
Mine?
Yeah.
The Last Sentinel. It like changed his life.
Yeah, that's right. There was a great
It
story. He
changed
really
his life.
needed the money also.
Yes, like it completely changed his life, and he's like the nicest guy.
He's a really
I
nice
think
guy.
mine too. He needed the money too.
He did. When I bought when I bought my second, I bought it off Yatrada, and they bought a house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Like there's a lot of Ben Strauss. Is that the one you bought? No, Ben Strauss also. He sold his and then bought a house. Like it's truth is like those are the stories I love about skulls that people don't always hear.
it's
'Cause
like
a lot
the
of
Ben,
people
ben
got them
Scar
cheap.
story times 50.
Yeah, well, because also a lot of those people took that risk of
Right.
betting on Sam, saying like, I'm gonna bid, and they just did it because they really liked his art. Like, and what I love is there's artists who did that, like Otherworld, Defaced,
Yeah.
right? Who like have no money, like they're not wealthy people, and they're like, hey, I just really get it, you know. Otherworld is like a great example. I think he's a phenomenal artist, and he's working on some incredible stuff now. And he always looks at like back at that moment, he's like, this is going to, at one point, the skull is going to help me build a studio. Like, I think that's, how many times we hear that in this space? It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's interesting how Sam has like grown the circle, but still kept it small. A lot of
Yeah,
people
yeah.
in his position might have just been like, "Why don't we do an open edition for 1 ETH and just see how many people buy it?" And like, he doesn't.
Which I think that works sometimes. Like, look, I felt like one of my biggest regrets is not getting involved in X-Copy early enough and seeing him. I think that was just me being stupid because like I saw that there was a lot of people, or not a lot, there was a group of people who were pumping him up, and I was like, these prices are just going to get ridiculous, and it's just bag pumping. But inevitably, I made the mistake of not realizing how great his art was. Later on, I collected a bunch of his stuff.
It's like I missed out on some X-Copy, but there is a period of time where like you could find gem editions. Like I
Yeah.
bought a 1
Yeah.
out of 27 for like 1.2 ETH.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's some still. By the way, I still think there's some great stuff. Like I think Remnants is by far one of his best projects, and they're sitting there like on like like on floor 3-4 ether. Like you can pick them up.
I literally have the floor listing. So if you're listening to this and you buy one, you probably bought one of mine.
I like them,
But I
yeah,
like
yeah.
Remnants. I have
Yeah.
4, I think.
Yeah,
I
like
bought a
Remnants.
couple to flip.
I also think his one that he just did with
Just being candid for the
no
listeners.
that'd be good.
I
think the one
don't
he-
want to sit here and be like, I love Remnants while I have the one listed on the floor. It's like I like them, but I also...
Mine isn't listed on the floor. I think I bought the first 2 that were listed like at 8 ETH. But like I do also like his project that he did with
Artbox? Or
yeah. I thought
Icons?
it was really good. It was
Well,
awesome.
the way they did it through Marfa was interesting. I was kind of
great.
sad I wasn't there. I saw my friends posting QR codes. No one sent me a fucking QR code. I'm like, you got like 3 QR codes. You gonna send me one?
I didn't get
fuck,
that.
man.
I only got one.
Well, not you.
To be
Other
fair.
friends.
I tried to find more. I'm not gonna name names, but some people are just like running around scrounge. Remember, I was looking at one point. Like it was great. I thought he did a good job. But I do agree, Sam. Like circles, like farther apart, they're still like kind of like.
Yeah, we
closed
get to
in,
bring
you know?
people in, but he starts to realize too, like once the circle gets too big, you just can't account for a lot of the volatility of people.
No.
It's like,
When he doesn't, I mean, I've heard him say a few things before. Like, it's like the reason he doesn't do merch or he doesn't, it's like he just doesn't, that starts getting out of his, I wouldn't say control, but just, it kind of starts breaking the.
Yeah, not yet, but I feel like I wanted to do like a Mickey Mouse mask.
in 10 years. maybe.
Delete that.
Okay,
No, I think it'd be great. I want to. You go to Disney World, and it's like, oh, I want that. Hey,
Okay,
what's that?
I'm going to make
Luci?
sure that Sam lets me know before he drops the Mickey Mouse mask.
And then you're gonna put it all in the burn wallet.
well, if it's a rainbow, maybe not.
First,
That's-
oh,
It'll be
now we're
fine.
talking. There is a rainbow skull. I don't think it'll be sold though. That's
The rainbow one?
yeah.
Are you talking about the one with like the
There's
multicolored
2
gems on the head? Or are you talking
No.
about the...
There's 2 that
There's
are
like a
rainbowish
rainbowish one.
There's one like a
I'm
leafy
almost
one.
positive Fuo owns it.
Not the one with the baby coming out of the head?
I think he owns that one also.
Yeah, that's the one
He
I
owns
think
two.
of when
I think he owns the
of Fuos.
rainbow one in that. I'm almost positive. I have to check, but the baby one coming out of the head is great.
If people don't have any frame of reference for what the skulls are, the way we're describing them right now sounds very
Oh,
interesting.
go look it up. The gem one is interesting. You know what the gems are on his head? I don't know if you know this. It's actually, so in Judaism, the high priest had this thing he would wear, this like box.
Uh-huh.
And there would be these gems. And supposedly the gems would light up when he spoke to God. probably never happened. I don't know. Maybe it did. I wish it.
Maybe if you're in the sunlight, the
Yeah, I
gems
don't know.
light
I mean,
up.
maybe it did. I have no clue. I wish if it did, I wish I was there to
It's the
see it.
batteries.
But if you
I don't-
watch, the why I
LEDs.
love it is because if you watch Indiana Jones, the first one, he wears it when he opens the temple, right? He opens the Aron, and as a kid, I always grew up loving it. And then on one of those skulls, I didn't realize, and one day I was like, yo, I think it's the Kohen, the Jewish priest. Thing.
I assumed mine was an allusion to mine's Eye of Exodus,
Yeah.
and that's like the Book of Exodus, eye for an eye.
Maybe Sam might be Jewish.
Might be.
Maybe.
I
I don't know.
don't
That
know. I don't think
the-
he's very. I don't know.
the gold nugget in the forehead.
let's not spread rumors. Nowadays, being Jewish isn't that easy.
Oh
So
my
I don't want to
What drew you to your skull?
Do what?
What drew you to the skull that you ended up with?
Well, one, it was one of the only ones that was available. So we'll go with that.
You
start.
weren't like me where you just refused to buy it till
Okay,
it went up 10x
One
in
day
price.
I want like a room. I want to be in the room with everybody I like talk to about buying a skull. Like
So on Thursday.
So
Yes,
yeah,
right.
that's fair.
Tomorrow.
Like 'cause
Thursday.
Bob's story is the same way. He was like, yeah, Benny took me out for drinks, and I can't do an accent. And I took too many drinks, and then I had a skull. He's like, I was like, why?
Did
that
you get
one?
the guy at the bar last night to buy a skull? What was that?
I'm working on it.
What was that?
I don't know. He was some really rich guy from England, and
Yeah?
now I have his number. It turns out we both own a horse.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
the
if you know this. I
horse.
bought a horse.
He was on.
Did you know I bought a horse?
Yes, I know.
I
you
bought
bought
one
a
with
horse.
Alistair. I don't know if you guys know
And
Alistair.
see-
Yeah,
Everybody needs to
from
know Alistair.
Osprey.
Yes.
Everybody needs to know Alistair from Masquerade. The guy is amazing.
He is amazing.
An enigma wrapped in enigma. I love him dearly, but he's crazy. And I bought it with him and Seed Phrase. And in May, I think we're racing the horse. And we don't have the name.
Yeah, because you couldn't get the names you wanted.
We're working on it. I'm trying to name. I want to name it.
They have to get
CryptoPunk.
approved,
It has to be
yeah.
approved. Just like
Are you like is it like a horse where you're like selling its genes? Like is it
I don't know anything
like
about
the-
horses, but the guy
the
last night at the
studs?
bar
The
told
studs.
me that my horse had a really good ass for racing. I swear that's what he said to me. He looked, he's like, dude, your horse has a great ass for racing. Then he showed me his horse, and
did it have a nice ass or anything?
I said, I think my horse has a nicer ass, and he's like, very. These were all UBS guys, and I tried to tell them to buy Bitcoin and digital art. That's like literally what I said.
I mean, I
got all their numbers.
We
though.
looked over. There was a QR code being shared.
That's what I was like. Oh God, what is happening?
I was like, is he getting a Madonna rainbow?
Here's my thing. I'm going to sell art, digital art, to anybody I literally.
We
can.
had been in there like 30 seconds.
Yeah, like
I
we-
thought he knew the people,
We walked in.
and
There's
he
a group of
immediately
three,
starts talking to them.
Yeah.
and they liked his coat.
Oh, that's right.
That was it. That was my in. And then I brought Raul over because he's English. He's not Australian. I found that out like 2 months ago. I always thought he was Australian.
I mean, it's easy.
It's the same thing.
They say mate.
And then I was like, yo, this guy's from England. And that's all. Then he left because he I don't think he didn't think I was going to be able to sell them art. But I think I'm going to sell them art. I'm going to get everybody. I'm going to onboard everybody to buying art. It's the key.
And actually, I think when I first met Raul, I asked him when he told me that he knew you. I said, "Yeah, how many times does he try to get you to buy a skull?" He's like, "All the time." And I finally just had to tell him, "I'm not buying one.
Yeah. Not yet.
I'm staying out of that.
it's a slow cook.
I am staying out. I've supported that
No,
that
Raul-
introduction
But
of the
what
Sprat
made
world.
you?
He has Sam's work now, so I'm happy.
You were like, this is the only one available. I have to buy it. Like how? Did
Actually,
that happen?
I do really like my skull. Now, if I was picking from all of them, that wouldn't have been the one that I picked.
Yeah.
Because
Would
I
have been
would
top
have
5.
probably.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's good.
It
enough.
was a good one though.
It is a good one. I really like it. It's just if I was, it doesn't fit the rainbow.
Doesn't have a rainbow. You could paint a rainbow on it.
I mean, I could. I mean, I've been very clear to Sam and Rachel that I'm expecting that my mask is Lisa Frank themed.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're expecting like
It
nice
needs to
rainbow.
be glitter,
Yeah.
rainbows.
Did you leave a
unicorns.
glittery observation revision and?
I did suggest colors.
You just the observation was I like rainbows in all
So
caps.
it's actually started similar to that, but then when I started playing I was participating with somebody else. We came up with this idea for something. It didn't really fit to make it all about rainbows.
Rainbows?
Specifically. Yeah.
Well, there also wasn't like a rainbow in the piece, right?
That was actually exactly my observations, which is where did all the colors go?
Yeah, what the fuck? Man?
Literally the first line. We were promised brighter. Like it's every one of them.
It was brighter.
It says where did all the colors go? We were promised brighter things.
It's definitely colorful. More colorful.
I did find out that there was some discussion about the mask tramp stamp also was widely considered.
The guy
No
with
comment.
the W on him or something else?
No, there was a great, actually in Toledo, there was a great moment where apparently Blondie had a little bit of alcohol.
Not Lindsay.
Yeah, not Lindsay. Blondie had.
Do you feel like you have like two different personalities depending on the name and environment?
I can just blame Blondie for things that I don't want to be.
I blame D's all the time. That guy's a fucking idiot.
What happens if I got Raul to get, instead of getting a skull, I got him to get a skull tramp stamp? Now that would be, if I could get that to happen, that would be a success.
I can't speak to this specifically. However, so apparently at this beautiful casino that we were at,
Benny
we talked
loves-
about this. I told about this casino. It's the best shitty casino I've ever been to.
we managed to go there 2 days in a row, and we also got Dave and Buster's in there as well.
Yeah, we did. Wait, how good is the casino though?
It was pretty good.
There you go.
For
Thank you.
Toledo, like
It was actually better than some of the ones in Oklahoma.
There you guys see. This is what I'm talking about. It was a really good shitty casino. Nobody listens to me.
The steakhouse they have in there closes at 9.
It wasn't bad though.
And they actually cut off serving alcohol, even though the casino is open 24 hours.
Yeah, which was very
makes
strange.
no sense.
Oh, maybe they just cut our alcohol off. 'cause we were all
True. Turns out that's
blasted.
probably a good idea. Y'all were all, I thought, okay, I would later learn I was also, but at the time I remember thinking, you guys are so fucking drunk.
you were also so fucking.
I would later learn when talking to Sam that he
Sam
was like,
gone also.
but
Max-
he was like, you remember that you told me that you were going to get a mask tramp stamp. And I was like,
What?
what?
Blondie said what?
Yeah. Blondie said,
How could Blondie?
I don't
No,
know.
you said it. It was when, I'll tell you exactly when it was.
Oh,
when
God.
I sat at the 3-card poker table with Max, and I lost like $400, and Max made like $7,000.
I
He like
think that's
crushed it.
He did not make 7,000, but okay.
And you were there, and and then I don't know how it came up, but you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get a tramp stamp from Skull's tramp stamp.
Blondie that was not me.
Blondie was
Sorry,
on it.
Blondie.
And so there's a company.
But you did help me. I have to say, you helped me on one skull sale with Bat Stew.
Yes.
We did a little partnership over there. That was good. Like you did a little dink and dunk. I did a little like move side to
Pick
side,
and roll.
a little pivot roll. Next thing, that was in Nashville. And next thing I knew, Batsu, who I love,
He's amazing.
Great human. People should meet him.
Great
Great
supporter
artist,
of the
big
space.
supporter of space. Like
Probably could hold the space on his back.
yeah,
literally.
dude, he is so strong. It's insane. Like Roger used to tell me he worked out, and now you see him, you're like, "Pfft, I don't even believe you.
Yeah,
but
you see
like,
Bats.
But Batsu works out. Like he's like a mountain.
Well, now he posts pictures of his working out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Will, I think, is trying to like catch up, but I just don't
It's
think
gonna take Will
happen.
7 years.
Poor
though.
Will.
Dude, like it's Batsu,
Performance enhancing
The
drugs.
guy's literally a mountain, and the first time I met him,
But he doesn't have like a mountain personality.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like you don't expect it at
No.
all.
Did I ever tell you the first time I met him? So in Miami, I have a conversation with some guy for 40 minutes. I asked him for his cell phone. I save it. And then I was like, hey, there's a good guy. Text me. I was like, hey, Carl, what's going on? It was a really good conversation. And he's like, Carl, what are you talking about? He's like, and then I was talking to him. He's like, another time, he's like, Benny, we met in Miami. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, remember in the house? I was like, wait, you're Carl?
The Rug Radio House?
Yeah. I was like, dude, wait, I was talking to Bats
Well, he
dude,
looks
as
like
Carl
he's
is
like a-
totally different person. I still call him Carl now.
He
By the way,
looks
it's not
like
his
a
name. I made it up.
23-year-old bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, you're like older than me? You look. It's like, what's your skincare routine?
Yeah,
Like,
he's
what-
amazing, and he's a great dad, and he's
He
just a
probably
great
sold his
person.
soul or
Yeah.
something.
I love his art.
He looks, yeah.
We own one of the 9, right?
Yeah, that's
Together.
one of the more expensive things we bought.
Yeah.
But it's aging well.
I love it. I'll hold that forever.
We were really like hot on co-collecting for a little bit, and then we just we're spending way too much money. It's like
But we did fine. Like I think we had. I think
oh,
we
we
have
have
pieces
everything
we love.
we have. I like a lot.
Yeah.
Like we have Xerox's Super Rare Genesis. We have
Yep.
Joey LPs.
Joey
We have
LPs.
Laura.
Yeah.
We have
Oh my God,
Ayla.
we have good pieces.
I like not mad at anything.
It was NorCal was with us, and it was just a nice group, and like. Yeah,
but we slowed down. We were like,
yeah,
we're gonna burn like 400 ETH at this rate. And
yeah, it was getting too much. And
but
and the NorCal just kept spending on his own. So
NorCal's fun to collect with. But do you co-collect with anybody, or have you done everything solo?
We co-collect a little bit together.
Yeah,
we invest in co-collect. We have fun.
not the burn wallet.
Not the burn wallet.
Co-collecting in a burn wallet.
I think that our co-collecting and co-investing is more chaotic in a way that it's like, hey, I get
you don't have like a framework in how you evaluate things.
I get phone calls. It's like I have an idea, and I'm like, oh god.
You're like, let me hit the vape.
Okay, but to be fair, my idea.
We're gonna buy this banana. We're gonna what?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go.
He tried to rope you in on the banana.
Oh, I got roped in. That was the whole thing.
At least you didn't have to go through with it.
That's fine.
Justin's son
did.
Well, that was another good example of traditional auction houses not doing things very great.
They didn't let me in. They didn't let me in.
It was a crypto auction. They needed proof of finances.
We gave it to them.
Right.
Vlad, we finally at the end, Vlad sent fucking all his wallets.
Well,
and
yeah, because but then they wanted traditional.
I sent them first I sent them something.
I sent them
They
mine.
said it was enough. Not you. It's not. It's like they needed a bank account. You then sent your bank account in. Then they said that's not enough. And then
they said it was enough money.
It was enough money, just not enough. Then Vlad said like whatever. I
think it was because it was coming from a variety of people. I don't know.
No, they just didn't want me to come with the banana suit. That's what it was. Yeah, they heard I was coming with a banana suit.
How do we move beyond this world of thinking we need a traditional auction house to sell things on chain?
I feel like this has been a hot topic in the last day.
I feel like I was shit talking them 3 years ago, and people were like, "You're just a dumbass kid."
So I don't want to. I don't. My issue is like, to be fair, I don't want to shit talk them as much because like my problem is that, for instance, I know the Christie's team. They're good people.
They're great people.
They're really trying. Like, and it's not just them. It goes up. Like the people at top really care about this. I don't know what we do. You know, I was just talking
just
to Raul about this.
Distribution advantage have we seen them bring in that is unique to what they can provide? Because everything I see from somebody who doesn't use the platform is that artists that we know and love are getting bought by collectors we know and love who already have an existing relationship with the artist.
I think it comes down to two things, and I don't know the answer. I was literally just having this conversation with Raul last night, like, and I have it with everybody. It's one of my biggest struggles is trying to understand: is it that we're just too early, or is it that we don't need them? And I don't, and I want like when I say we don't need them, I know there's gonna be other collectors who I'm not going to say, are you out of your mind? This is how we build, blah, blah, we need this, we need blah, blah, you know, and like, relax. Like institutions. Like, I'm like, okay, relax. Like, I get it. Like, I am very close to a lot of institutions. And I think there's institutions that are really trying, like Toledo, the Whitney, LACMA, right? Buffalo.
But those institutions are different. Museums.
Correct.
They're not
auction houses.
Correct.
So I think auction houses are struggling in general. So I don't know how much, like, the question is, are they bringing in new people? And I don't see they are. Now, interestingly enough, I'm curious to see, like, if one day a Basel will, right? Because, like, if we could put our own sort of people selling at a Basel, maybe they'll get to newer collectors. Like, we do need new collectors. We can't, I don't totally agree that we don't need. We definitely need. But the question is, do we need to build with them or do we need to build our own? And I've said this numerous times on stage that, like, I think the answer is that we need to build our own. At some point, it might just be we need to build our own institution, our own auction houses. There may be some of those institutions and auction houses that come with us at the beginning, like Toledo. But I don't know. I'm just a little torn because, like, I watched, you know, a lot of these bidding, and I bid a lot on them because I'm hoping that if I put a bid in, someone else is like from the traditional art world to be like, hey, that's really cool. I want that.
So
it's just not working.
So the Christie's, when I bought the Rip Cash piece, that nobody was paying attention to any of that. I was in New York for the Doodle event. I mean, that was like a crazy day of
You were there for like 36 hours, right? Or something, remember?
Not even that long, I think. Yeah. But whatever it was like this whirlwind. So I ended up going over to
That's when she saw Grimace.
Yeah. Yes. So nobody was paying attention to the piece. The piece comes up. The person that was doing the auction actually says it. She kind of smirks and like makes almost like this, like passive. I mean, I wouldn't say passive aggressive, but it was almost like we don't see many of these. Yeah, very dismissive.
Yes.
Because actually it's on, they have a clip of it because the way she says it. And so it went up in the RIP Cash Discord about like, look at this lady. And so I'm there. Somebody was bidding against me online. But I wanted to go, because I was there, I wanted to go and show, because it was a pretty big group of people that were there, because most of the art was traditional art.
Yeah.
And there was a traditional art piece associated with the auction that I was buying.
It was an excellent piece.
It was an excellent piece.
He's an excellent artist.
And he is. And so that moment, though, I did get a lot of attention because they had put a certain amount on the auction that was lower than what it ended up going for by 3 times, I think.
Okay.
And so people were like, oh.
What is this?
What's going on here? And even the woman was like, the person doing it was like, okay, this is strange. And so then after that, there were a lot of people out, like looking, being like, okay, what the hell is this piece that just sold for?
Who are you?
It's a surveillance camera thing. What are we missing? This piece just sold for $100,000. What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And so but then again, that was not a digital art piece.
No, it was like a physical digital.
This also goes back to a white walls thing for us is the way that when they do auction off digital art, oftentimes it looks really bad.
Yes.
They do a really poor job of it. And it's also because they,
no, you're right.
I the stuff today.
Yeah.
We were talking about Jesse's piece. Like, it is a beautiful, like 83-inch fucking tall metal sculpture.
That he literally like forged the metal.
And the first thing you see is like a front-facing 2D plane static image of it. And I tweet it, and people are like, I could take some steel and some fucking
I love when people say that. I could do that. Well, but did you?
Like,
yeah.
What's that kids shit that's like the balls that
Orbeez?
Yeah, like I could plaster that and sell it to you for $10. It's like, you don't even know it's a fucking video. Like, it's a digital screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're missing out. And Jesse's like a great example.
I have a great Jesse piece.
I
think he's one of the most
Which
like
Jesse piece
underrated
do you have?
artists.
You sold it to me.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Benny's broken so many deals.
I didn't sell it to you. I brokered it. Yes, I totally forgot that. Sorry. And that's a great piece.
But had I
There's not that
been
many
running
pieces
that,
Jesse Wilson has, so I'm like, wait, what?
I would have
a
the
great one for
video
your
front and center of it showing the depth of what it is and not just like, boom, static image.
Honestly, the image of it looks like one of those mall directories.
It's not just the image. It's like but the problem is like people went there and they saw it. Now, let's say you take Jesse's piece. So I can understand people are like, okay, maybe it's
I don't have a room.
I don't have the room.
Yeah.
It's too big. I can understand that. But what I think sometimes that's the conversation for the most part. I think people are walking through these things. They're just not getting it. And I just wonder if we're building for 2 different types of people. Our community who is native to it, and the next generation, like our kids, who digitally will be native and want to do things digitally all the time. So art will be innate to them to want to be digital, right? Now, that doesn't mean I think that we're going to get rid of physicals. Or like, oh, you think everything's going to be digital? No, that's not what I'm saying. But like, the kids who are 4, 10, 18 years old, 20 years old, everything that's digital assets to them, that means everything to them. I think art is just like sort of a natural progression of ownership sometimes. And it's like you get connected to it. So I think art's going to be that, because whatever it is, it's in there. If we have like, a multiverse house, or not multiverse, excuse me. I said multiverse.
Don't drop that.
Sorry.
That's in the
that's
works.
alpha.
That's why she has 75 TVs.
Exactly. Like if they're in a metaverse and they have like their own house there, they're going to want to put up art. Like they're going to want to show off their digital assets that they have. And there's going to be different ways for them to do that. But like, I just feel like maybe there's a part of me feels that we may be wasting our time trying to onboard these people. Now, the guy like last night, that's different. Like I feel like you could have individual conversations with people, get them in slowly.
But
That's different than saying, hey, let's put something up.
That's
at
different than
auction.
having a AI auction at Christie's that nobody really understands, that isn't promoted in a way that people understand why it's different.
Well, they did. To be fair, they did promote. The promotion for this release was good. I feel like the press they got was great, and even though some of it was negative, I think it forced a narrative. I think everything. Here's the thing. I think everything Christie's did was good. You could say like, oh, maybe this didn't belong or that belonged, but overall, I mean, everything that they did and said, and the artists' words that they got out, and the narratives, for all intents and purposes, I think the team crushed it. The problem is there's nobody buying. So like, what do we do to do that? And the question is the answer that buyers maybe just are not there? And we just need to focus on like here. And by the way, look, right now, Bitcoin's sitting at, I don't know, 88,000, whatever it's at. And
it could be 75 by
could
the
be
time we're done.
75, 72, whatever it is. I think most of us who are in this world truly believe that.
That's what y'all need in here is the ticker.
Yeah, we should have a
Oh, yeah,
ticker.
behind you.
So we can just be like,
It's invisible. But like, I think most of these people, most of us who are here, have extremely strong conviction that we look at that price. Like, yes, it hurts, but we don't see 75,000, 88,000. To us, it's like 250, 300,000. There's going
$1
to be
million.
right. I do. I believe that. Like,
I thought it was 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin.
one Bitcoin,
Yes.
one Bitcoin. But my point
One
is,
ETH equals
one
one
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
equals one
we
Bitcoin.
see the value of crypto much higher, and we have that conviction. When that happens, which I believe it will, there will be more buyers for art. That's what happened last time. So we just need to be maybe patient.
But we're at a time where Bitcoin just made a new all-time high in the last 2 months. Like, we're at a time where
But
It was
people don't-
short-lived.
it's not right, and
yeah,
it's
they
not
didn't
re-
take money out.
Dude,
They-
it's
they
not
weren't able to
realized.
sell.
Solana went to like $300, and people are like, "What's gonna go to 400? I'm not gonna sell."
That's always going to happen, but like I know I've said this like a year ago or a year and a half ago, like when I started buying ordinals pretty
Dude,
early.
OMB just sold fucking $7 million.
I keep saying
Yes.
it. Give it time.
There's
Like
buyers.
I think ordinals are going to explode off the charts. I really do.
There's buyers for this shit.
There
just
is
not
because
buyers.
if they're sitting there and they have 100 Bitcoin and they're like, well, I'll spend
Because
one.
the thing is, people want to speculate. They don't want to collect art. Like, the truth of it is, people will pay millions of dollars to speculate on some dog shit scribbles that there's 5,000 of them.
I don't think OMB is dog shit scribbles just for the
No, I
record.
do.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. I
Right.
think they're dog
I know.
shit
We
scribbles.
disagree there. I love the artist.
I
and-
think
yeah.
the shark tweeting twice in the year 2024 and then coming back to drop a mint at the start of 2025 is just absolute
Right.
shark behavior.
I like ZK. I think ZK and Tony. I think Tony's an incredible.
I like
artist,
Tony, but
I think Tony's art.
I think
this
the
last
rapping of it is dog shit scribbles.
one, fair enough. Like I hear you, and I know we disagree on this, but I will say this: Tony as an artist, though, I think his last one that he just did with, I almost wish he just did black and whites because I think the black and whites were the best by far. Like I thought he crushed him. But my point is,
My point is people will gamble on things they think they can speculate on, but nobody's going to Christie's and looking at a
Yeah.
Jesse Wilson sculpture and being like, I think I can triple my money on this in 3 weeks.
those that will get that Jesse sculpture or get that are people who made money in crypto, but now are like, I'm here for the art.
Yes.
I want that. And I just think that number's low. And I think we keep trying to convince ourselves that like we're just gonna get all these people to buy. And I
think when people have realized gains over a more stable period of time, it's just, I mean, we see that in
I
the
think a lot of
traditional
us-
world with art when people or anything,
they're in
luxury goods.
and they go in cycles, 100%. Like
yeah, luxury goods is a good example as well.
And
I mean,
sneakers are
nobody's
cycles, right? Like from what I understand, also very much.
sneakers. Louis Vuitton sees it as well. When the economy is good, people are spending money. I think it's a very similar thing. I think art is even more difficult, especially something that's as baby as digital, crypto art.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us learned our lessons last cycle too. We bought too much
yes.
with the profit we made.
Yeah.
So now we're a lot more slow and intentful about what we buy, which is good because I think
Well, for me, I don't know how to sell art. I think there is a way to do it. Rumor has it some people do.
you can do this thing. It's called a listing
It's a listing.
or a reserve price.
Or you can put it on loan. I don't think.
yeah,
yeah,
you're not
no.
taking loans out against your art yet. You could do this crazy thing where you take all the stuff you have and then
Put
you
it
get
all
a
in meme
loan,
coins.
and then you could buy more of the stuff you already have.
Oh,
And this is like an infinite money.
that's just
an infinite
you just
money
make
glitch.
money. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't.
That's how we get people in the space.
Show
oh
them
my
that.
god.
Show them that.
Theoretically, I just talking to Gandhi today. Like I understand their vision on how that could get people in the space. I do understand that because you create like a liquidity sort of. And I've been really curious and following them along a little bit more because I think that they kind of get that. I'm curious to see how that all plays out.
But, like, to
There's
me, it's
multiple
like
people. There's multiple people.
I'm sure there
there's
are.
people who
Yes, there's a lot of people who put loans out and
That's
now
the thing.
are
Like
worried.
you're very attached
and
to
it's
these
all
things.
on chain. Like people
all
can
on
go
chain.
look at these loans. Like you don't need.
Yeah.
They're using their docs wallet. That's their name.eth.
It's literally they're putting their name there. But I agree, but I still think that's our community. I guess like what Gandhi's saying is as we get further and we mature more, you're going to have people who have a lot more money because in the art world, there's a lot of loans. People take out loans on art all the time, right? On large pieces. So it's not like, it's not foreign idea.
Well, it's like they're taking. It's almost like a collateral loan.
Correct.
Oh yeah, it's leverage.
So
Yeah, it's leverage, yeah.
right.
It's not infinite
like
money
to
glitch.
me, and I think my struggle is when I buy art, it's very personal to me, and so having something out there is. It's essentially like when people take their jewelry and put it, they get a payday loan or what, or any other variety of things.
That's a difference. I think you're probably less a collector, more a patron. I really do. I think that you.
Well, you're less of like a financially motivated collector. You're more of like you're actually just collecting because you like the people and you like what you're collecting. You're not collecting it because you're primarily hoping the value goes up.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like again, I have no idea what anything would sell for.
I try to keep value in some of the stuff I have, but overall, like it's.
I mean, I have the different buckets. Like I buy punks because I want to make money. I buy.
But you also have punks you won't sell.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you would, but like for $1 bajillion.
Yeah, like I have one that.
Because the punk I wanted is your wife's punk.
Yes, yeah, that one. Sorry, that one's not.
That's okay. Actually, the one I have, I love that she has that one.
Yeah, the one you got is great now, though.
I love my punk.
She picked that one out after I bought her one she didn't like. That was not her vibe, and she was like, "Yeah, we got to get rid of this." And
No,
I was like,
I think that's fine. I think that trying to make money on these things is fine. My concern is
just the main use case that gets all the attention and capital is the speculative use case.
Yeah.
There's very few like collectors like you. Like there's probably less than 15 of them.
Well, and it's sad too. I mean, there's some pieces of art that I've been able to collect that somebody bought originally for a lot, but then they needed to, they're illiquid.
Yeah.
And so they'll trade me for something else that's
Liquid.
very, like, I think I traded for a grifter before because you can, somebody's going to buy the grifter really quick. Whereas like a one of one from somebody is not
You
going
can
to
sell the grifter on the floor, 10% haircut.
But
in a
you
day.
also bought like that. I like that really nice Jen Starks piece that you wanted, right, for a while, and you got it a lot cheaper than the person bought it. But you're also going to be a much better patron to Jen than a person who's like, I just need to sell this for a loss. Like, and that's not a knock on that person. I get it. People have to sell, fine. But it's like the spoils of the war. It's kind of sometimes it's like, look, I hate to see it. But for Jen, I'm actually really happy because I think you're going to be a much better patron than somebody else. You're not selling
Jen's work on the sphere is crazy. Did you see that?
It was actually some of the best work I've seen.
Yeah, and it works beautifully on the sphere. But yeah, I reposted because I put my piece up in my house.
Nice.
But several people sent me the sphere.
She's great, and I think
her physicals are crazy too. I think a lot of people don't realize she has them.
No, I think people don't see.
She has like
physicals. She just did a shoe launch with Snoop Dogg. Nobody even.
With Snoop?
What?
Yeah.
I know the Skechers, but with Snoop?
I know Skechers.
Oh, maybe that's Alpha.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Benny is just spilling everything.
Yeah.
Going back to Art Basel.
What?
Just don't put it all out and be like, yeah, I cut it. Benny won't listen. Benny will be listening to it with a mirror and
I think
Car.
Well, and it was crazy because I see her stuff. White Walls had we were at Scope this year at Art Basel.
Yeah, I was impressed.
You guys did a great job.
Thank you. It was really exciting, and that was another really great time that we had people that are not generally digital art collectors stopping and like, are you selling this art? We're like, actually, no, we're selling the ability for you to, and they're like, wow, I can put this up in my home. This is amazing.
What's nice that you have it set up where like they don't need to own the art to display it.
Right.
Like that's a big unlock because like a lot of people, like you have a DK piece up, you have a Jake Fried up. It's like they can't afford.
Well, and like that for me, that's one of the, and there's a huge argument if we get into that, it would take probably hours, but I own it. I don't want everybody to be able to see it. Whereas one of the things I love about collecting is that I will eventually, I think I do have I have a channel sort of out there that was from one of my curations, but I will eventually everybody will have the ability to create their own channel.
Yeah.
And put it out for people to share. And I love sharing art that I own.
Like,
That's one of the things I love about buying.
Why
agree
would
completely.
you not want other people to see what you
It
collected?
doesn't.
Like that
It doesn't make sense.
It only makes it better.
They're like, well, it's free. Why would people want to buy it? And I'm like, okay, look at I use the Mona Lisa as a great example.
people buy prints of the Mona Lisa at fucking Spencer's in the mall for $20.
But you would still want to have the original if you could.
But here's where people don't understand value, right? Because to them, the value is the flip. What they're not seeing is the mimetics of the piece, the popularity, which could give it much more like dramatic sort of like influence of price on it over time. Because right now our community is so obsessive, like, well, I got the biggest piece for $25 million and I'm gonna show it at every single museum. That's not mimetics. That's not popularity. Like the best way to look at it is like when somebody creates a meme. If that meme goes viral, I thought like I've gone back to this. I don't know if I've ever said this actually to you. To me, the biggest, most important sale, in my opinion, I know it's gonna sound crazy, in our community was that girl who was a little kid at the fire. And then she sold her meme for like, I don't remember how much it was a ton of money.
I mean, a lot of those have sold over $1 million.
But that to me was like, that's the whole point of this. If she could make money off of a meme of her, the provenance of that, what?
The dog picture.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like that's exactly the point. So if we could create the art that we own into that, then the value is all there.
And I think there's also still the gap of people being scared of crypto. So in a lot of what we're doing, a lot of these things are traded and bought, so whatever, with crypto. And people are terrified of that. You know, people that aren't aware of crypto at all and that all they hear is the bad stories.
Yeah.
I mean, there's never really great stories anywhere. Except in maybe,
they're great stories. You just don't hear them.
I feel like a lot of it's like news in general too.
Yeah.
They just like to share bad stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So they're, even at Scope, when they were like, oh, are these NFTs? I was like, ugh. Like when people say that, like even I hate when people say that because the stigma around it is just.
I wish we could get past that.
Digital art.
And digital
I
art.
also like the location you guys had because it was right next to where all the food was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like jammed in the middle where like someone might not walk. Like most people walked by the drinks and the food at some point, and you couldn't help but when you're waiting for food to like be like, what the fuck is this Jake Fried thing? Like, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, and actually, Vince ended up buying. I sent it to Jake. He sent, and I think I posted it maybe, or the White Walls account posted it. And then I think Vince ended up, he was like, I ended up having to buy it myself. It looks so good. But so many people were stopping. And then I had the Utrata piece up. And we talked about, like, when people would come by, I was talking about, well, I own this one. And the Toledo Museum of Art owns this one. And they're like, wow, these are really great artists.
The DK one had a lot of people stopping.
The DK one did too.
I stayed around for like 30 minutes. And there was at least like 4 or 5 people who were like taking videos on their phone.
Yeah. The Jesse piece was a huge success.
Jesse was a big success.
The whales from David Fairs.
The artists that are here, they create conversations. I mean, like, there's no better conversation starter, in my opinion, in this space. As all the artists that I love here, than Joe, right? Joe Pease's work literally is the easiest. I showed this guy last night at the bar. Joe's work. That's the only artist I showed him. He's like, now I like that visual art. Like he was like, what is that? Like it was. I know it's so easy to draw people in because it's such an easy conversation.
You didn't show him a Die with the Most Likes fleshlight, like a fucker Carl.
No, but I show other pieces of. I actually show other pieces of the one where the office ones and stuff. Like he has some really good ones that people.
The fucker Carlson, everyone loves.
They're great. I mean, yeah. I mean,
actually, I just bought another die piece today. Yeah.
You did?
Oops.
I thought you were. Thought you were on a freeze.
Yeah, well.
Which piece?
Blondie's like, oops, I did it again.
Which piece did you buy?
It was actually the Proof piece that he did for the Proof Collective, but somebody floored and I've wanted that piece forever. I really wanted the physical, but I heard it actually burned down in Kevin Rose's house.
There's good stuff in those collections.
Seriously, that's what I heard.
That what?
The physical of that burned probably in Kevin Rose's house when it burned in California. Okay.
Is that true?
That's what I heard.
Well,
wait, I gotta ask Di, because like if
that might be who told me that.
That lore would be so amazing.
You're gonna have me on the floor in between this episode.
Yeah, like that would be.
That
Wow.
might be who told me
the
that.
Proof
Or he's saying it because I was like, I really want that physical. He's like, Kevin Rose has it, and I think his house just burned down, so there's a good chance it's
Wow.
gone.
I mean, I do feel bad about that because like
Nobody,
It's
never, I
It's
don't wish
awful.
bad things on
no,
anybody.
that's. I mean, he is soulless, but I don't want his house to burn down.
No,
Right.
there's a line.
Yeah.
The
Wishing that on somebody just as bad.
the
karma
proof
too.
Terrible.
collections are
I
really
can't imagine
good.
that feeling.
Like
Yeah.
that's one thing, shit on them for everything that happened. Like
that was all
the
Eli.
the Eli
Eli really did a great job. with
curation, and then
curations, yeah.
the videos that Proof
Did
put out
yep.
around the Grails
Yep.
drops
Yeah.
are still, in my opinion, the best long form
totally
art
agree.
content that we've had. Period.
Eli really.
Like I don't understand why Christie's can't do something like that. Like why are you not?
I
sitting-
love. I
They
used to say
did
for Eli all the
They
time.
did try it with this last one. I don't. I think they did a better job of it this time, but I do agree that Eli curation. And I don't know.
You
where
got
he's-
like a 5 to 10 minute insight of the artist's thought behind where they
The
came
way they
from.
did all of that. I mean, I was on several of their podcasts, and he would do he would tell me he hated to do them, but I was like, that's what brings people
Nah,
in
he
is the
didn't
way
hate
he would.
I bought a couple
where he would do the
pieces
walking
from people
around.
I never knew
Yeah.
solely because of the video.
No, Eli's a great example of like, I don't know where he ends up. I hope it's somewhere good. Because he's a great steward and curator. Now he's doing private sales. I just feel like he's wasting his time. Like it's nice and everything. I just don't know if that's not moving our needle. Like he can move our needle in our community in a better way. So
But at the end of the day, it's like everyone needs to like make money and like
for sure
brokering sales.
And by the way, I'm not like he should do it, but like I want to see. I hope there's something more fulfilling.
Yeah, there's something more substantial that he could be doing, or substance, I guess.
So there's substance that really
He's
can
moving
help our
art, which
community.
is good.
Moving art's very important,
Right.
and I move art a lot.
We know.
I don't.
We're very aware.
I take that not as a private sale. I'm not a broker.
Yeah. Well, you
kind of are, but
you don't take
don't
any
take
of
a
it.
cut.
I don't take a cut. But
The
and
worst
that's not knock.
broker.
If you move
Vibrational.
art, you should take a cut. Just for the record, I'm not saying just I'm kind of stupid. But my point is that Eli just has a lot to give. So I want people like that to like feel the ability to like have something where an outlet they could do more. So I think with Proof, he did do that very well. And I think that the Proof Pass was good for that reason. It's just I think they were just probably overpriced a little.
What
bit.
I ended up doing is I just bought the things on secondary
Yeah.
that I liked when
That-
people needed
that's a lot
liquidity.
of people did. Yeah. I
Like,
put Joey L's one. I thought it was great. The dinosaur one.
The
he did
Game
with
Boy,
Game Boy.
the
yeah.
Dinorama.
That was a good one.
So
I
good.
liked one of the ones ACK did. And ACK is so
ACK.
nice. I bought it on secondary and I made sure he got the royalties and everything. Literally like 2 days later, he's like, "So I'm sending you the print. Where you want?" I'm like, "I didn't realize this came with one." And I
ACK is a great example of an
bought it on
artist.
secondary.
Yeah,
And he's like, "No, I got you. Like this is for Jess because he's met Jess. The piece is called Flowers for Your Girl. Her name is on the piece because he did flowers for my girl." Anyway,
he's a great example of an artist that is very good at relationships,
yeah.
and I think that it helps him sell art, and more power to him.
But
You
it
know, if you're gonna
also
work, like
helps-
Thank You X is another one. Like really puts effort into like that relationship with people, like being there. You know.
Yeah, I also have experienced that as well. I have a really great thank you. I think I have the best thank you X piece, but I'm biased.
Your Thank You X piece is really really good.
I like the Thank You X copies that were on Shape. That was like one of the two things I bought on Shape.
I thought it was one of the best projects
bought
he
the
did in a
Deeple.
long time.
Because I felt like the Deeple was like, well, I could finally get like a fucking, it's not a Let's Walk, but it's like me in his art, which I thought was really cool. And DK's work is just generally pretty expensive. So it was like the first time I
He
could
puts
be
up
like, yeah.
so much work into it also.
So I really like the Deeple. And then I minted, I like how they did like the extra fits for them because they had like the Halloween ones.
And they're like limited too.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
they're gonna keep doing them.
so I
Yeah,
minted like 3
I
more.
think there's some really great things coming from Shape.
Yeah.
I
So.
spoke to that team. A couple
we are
weeks ago.
coming
I
up
was excited.
on 1 o'clock, which I know.
Oh, great.
You
And
have,
I actually have to go.
okay. that's
So
fine.
let's do this. So first of all, I want to say, Lindsay, it's a breath of fresh air to have you in this community because I think that at a time when a lot of us were like, oh, man, there's just like, we need better collectors and patrons, you came along and you're just like, you just fucking tore into it like a queen and you're just like, I'm going to own this shit. And I think like for us, it's exciting to see. And I know that there's a lot more that you have planned to do, which is really exciting. And, I just hope that there's other people who watch us and understand the importance of that so that there could be more of this belief system that I know you have. And, so thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks for having
If we
me.
can find like
Yeah.
2 people like you per year
Yeah.
to add to the space, like
we'll be successful. That's all we need, man. 2 years. I agree.
It's like, yeah, I was telling Benny a while ago, it's like we need like one canvas a year, a couple blondies, and that's better than like 500 plus sneaker bot hype flippers who are hitting speculative mints and trying to, make a 2x gain in an hour.
Our community would be a way better place. So,
and I'm looking forward to Corn.
Yes.
Or whatever other concert we find ourselves at.
Yes.
And we have a question we wrap up with. It's a more lighthearted question, kind of. Nothing crazy.
Wait, are we doing the new one?
No, we're not asking about sex robots.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's not what we're going with. What? If you were stranded on a deserted island and you had one album to pick to help get you off the island, what would your album be?
Mentally get off the island because you're never getting off the island. So it's like you're stuck there forever. So
No,
you
you
just
can
get
get
to
off.
listen
You
to
can build a raft.
Maybe. All
Maybe
right. All right.
Out
you
of
can
the
build a raft.
album?
Oh, now we're talking. This is
You could
first
burn the
person.
album.
Yeah, first person. You do whatever you want with the album, but you have the album to listen to.
Oh, I don't know. It probably would be something like easy listening, like Creed. I mean, probably like
Wow.
literally probably something
Dive
like
the most
that.
likes when he hears this is going to
Which
get
Creed? Which Creed album?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know.
Human Clay.
When you're on the
I do like
island
Human
and you're
Clay.
listening, all I want you to think about is me singing.
No.
Can
okay.
you
can I
take
change my
me
answer?
higher?
Yeah, change it.
I mean, I don't know. There's some really cryptic. I mean, I love Shinedown also.
Okay.
Shinedown's great.
Yeah. So probably something like that, just because you could just check out, I guess.
Yeah.
Just put it on.
Put it on, just lay back, say, accept my fate.
Put 3 Days Grace album on.
3 Days Grace is another good one. I mean, I feel like it's the same genre of but then I also like my angry rock. We laugh. I laugh. I like when I
All
angry.
That Remains,
I do.
or like
Yeah.
yeah,
Like I do yoga to All That Remains. Like
Wow.
it's my weird. Yeah. It's
like that.
All right.
That,
When
that relaxes.
That's like
you.
angry
does.
yoga. Is
It
that a
does.
thing? Is like hot yoga, angry yoga?
I have angry yoga.
There's goat yoga now.
I can't do like the peaceful yoga. I do like angry, loud, angry.
You got Cannibal Corpse on.
Okay, not
Not
that
that-
quite.
not
Yeah, I
that
haven't had
heavy.
that bad of a day yet. But yeah, I think probably it could be
That's
either way.
a more interesting
All right.
answer we've gotten.
Definitely. That was a lot. That was deep. So
That was a good conversation. We got to
Yeah.
cut 15 minutes of it.
yeah. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Lindsay.
Yes.
I hope this was one of the more unique pods
Yeah.
we've
It
gotten to
absolutely
do.
was. It absolutely was. Yeah.